put that there.
Right, okay. Okay.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
I never broke into a car, never hotwired a car, kid. I never broke into a trunk. I shall not cause harm to any vehicle nor the personal contents thereof, nor through inaction let that vehicle or the personal contents thereof come to harm. It's what I call the repo code, kid. Don't forget it. Etch it in your brain.
Doobity-doo wop wop, say what, yeah?
This is Film
Say
Sack.
what, yeah?
That's so weird.
Oh, sure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Film Sack. This is Film Sack, mining the very depths of film entertainment for all mankind. This is episode 656. I'm Scott Johnson, joined today by Brian. He threw the Virgin Mary out the window, done away.
Ah, choink. Oh, hi.
Hi.
This week on Film Sack, we get punked into doing some Repo Man. Not cool at all. Here, have some white label beer for your floor. Now, pardon us as we slam dance our way to the want ads of movies over on Netflix because we want, nay, need a sci-fi action film from 1984 discussing the hot topics of the day, such as consumerism, Scientology, drugs, rebellion, crime, drugs, conspiracies, and don't forget the drugged up aliens in the trunk. Also, don't do drugs. Anywho, a lot of people don't realize what's really going on. They see life as a bunch of unconnected incidents and things like auto parts. Hey, I see what you did there. I don't like it, but I see it. People don't understand there's this like lattice of coincidence lying over everything. Like thinking about a plate of shrimp and then a Chevy Malibu shows up with a trunk full of radioactive alien sausages and then you fly off into space. Why, yes, I did eat a lot of acid back in the hippie days. Spoiler! Come on, Randy. Let's go do crimes, like get sushi and not pay. Oh, a plate of shrimp. What was I saying?
I was just thinking about a plate of shrimp. How weird.
Weird. So was I. All right, nicely done. Also with us, Randy. Hey, they are racing in those L.A. water canal things that had the Terminator that one time and stuff, Jordan.
Aloha, Scott, Brian, and thank you for coming to my seminar on illegal activities titled Let's Go Do Crimes. Today, we're going to compare people who belong to a counterculture to literal aliens. And along the way, find out if you can do a lot of drugs and make the written aspect of art make any sense at all. But mainly, we're going to glorify violence and masculinity through stereotypes such as men never smile and all jobs suck. But back to the crimes. You want to crime, and I teach you how. Starting with torture. Torture is the second oldest profession after giving up that booty for some tasty meats. And torture is easy, as long as you follow my 3 punk rock rules. Number 1, touch them a lot. You know how when you have someone strapped to an electric table and you're shocking them, you just want to touch them? Go ahead, obey that urge. Number 2, take the time to strip off your torture victims' clothes, but put their shoes and socks back on them. That's just common courtesy. Number 3, usually when you're torturing someone, there's a rescue party coming for them, so make sure you torture them in a shed that their friends can easily identify and storm before you hurt them too much. Oh, that reminds me, never shock your torture victim too much. I don't know why. It's not allowed. It should just be small jolts, little jolts, you know, that make them squeal a little bit. Okay, let's go do crimes.
Let's do the crimes.
I feel like we got to keep doing these crimes.
Yeah,
All right,
crimes.
nicely done. Finally with us, Brian. The old lady is still pissed he ran into her trash ibit.
He ran into my trash. I'm gonna wave a rake at him. All right, let's do a little jazz for this one.
Ooh.
Going into plate of shrimp.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah,
Did
play
you
a strip.
hold on? Did you sustain that last thing as long
Yeah.
as it
Yeah, I
sounded-
really
one
did
breath.
sustain that last thing. That was a real thing.
Okay. You know
Look
what?
at the lungs on Ibit.
Direct benefit of prepping for a MS 150. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, a tremendous lung power right there for that one.
That one showed new range. I'm just saying.
Six vocal tracks, by the way, on that one.
Oh my
vocal
gosh. You may as
one of the longer, even more than we don't talk about Spacey.
you're basically Reuben. You're Rick Rubin. That's who you are now.
So, like,
Nicely
let's
done.
get to the quality question. Does the quality of the movie, as far as your opinion goes, Brian,
Yeah.
does that urge you on? Does it motivate you, or does
Oh no,
this
I
kind
think
of like
my
a,
song was as crappy as my song was. It was better than the movie we just watched.
Fair enough. All right, let's talk. Let's talk about the movie. It is called Repo Man, as you may have figured out from the song, and it is from 1984. And we have a fake Fletcher to explain more, so that if you're confused, you won't be. And this one's really unhinged. But anyway, here you go.
Repo Man's a young punk recruited by a car repo agency finds himself in pursuit of a Chevrolet Malibu with a huge $20,000 bounty and something otherworldly stashed in its trunk. What even is this thing?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Higher and higher.
Yeah.
Right, I know.
least
At some
it's
point
starting. It's gone from Mario to Maria Bamford.
Especially at the beginning there. Listen to that top bit.
Repo Man's
Also, I think he said I think he said
Repo Man's.
Yeah.
Ripple Man. Ripple Man.
Repo Man's. Anyway.
Yeah.
The movie is Repo Man, directed by Alex Cox, written by him, and starring Harry Dean Stanton, great actor, Emilio Estevez, pretty good actor, and Tracy Walter. Tracy Walter's she's a singer, right?
He.
Oh,
is-
who am I thinking of? Who's the girl? The girl's some punk rock
Oh,
lady.
she's she did stuff
Layla?
from TV and stuff. You'd know her.
Oh,
from,
Olivia Barish.
Olivia Barish, yeah.
Yeah,
from
didn't
Layla.
she's in music.
From the UFO.
What? Wait.
She was in The Doors, maybe you're thinking of Fame too.
She was in the
She's
movie
some
The
musical
Doors.
stuff.
She was in the
Yeah.
movie The Doors, yeah. But there was
Yeah,
something else, like
Well, yeah.
what was it? Hold on, I'm gonna find this.
Fame.
Uh,
I want to series.
no, there was some.
Yeah, I didn't recognize her as being.
She's been in a lot of TV stuff over
Oh
the
yeah,
years.
she did. She was a songwriter, singer, signed with Warner Chappell Music, placing her original songs in motion pictures such as Oliver Stone's The Doors.
Yeah.
But I don't see like a member of a band or anything like that I might be missing it as I scan.
Oh,
through
here it
this.
is.
She was the-
Co-founded the original Pixie Cowboys. I don't know what that is. That's some
there you
band.
go.
Mm.
But that was obviously it didn't make an impact because
Yeah, I like the newer Pixie Cowboys.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you haven't
Second
heard,
iteration, far better.
it was a better a good direction for things to go.
That's
I'm
right.
surprised Ibid doesn't remember her from Soap. As much Soap as he watched.
No, is she
I
on
watched
Soap?
all of Soap many times.
Yeah.
She was on Soap.
Oh wow,
She was on Soap.
All right,
She was on Soap. Molly. In one episode, she was Molly.
Yeah.
Okay.
she was a kid, so
Yeah, and that was like 7 years before. No, that was, when did this movie come out?
this came out
84. Yeah,
84,
7
yeah.
years.
The big year of '84.
That's right.
Yeah.
I should remember that because currently the Sony Alamo Draft House
Oh, there you
is doing their 1984 time capsule. So they're letting you
Oh.
come in and watch all these movies from '84.
Terrible.
Best year.
I just want
right?
to direct some love at you for calling it the Sony Alamo Draft House. You listeners are probably not hearing this immediately, right? We're like posting this a week from now.
Yeah.
This episode is being recorded within minutes of Sony taking over Alamo Draft House.
Yeah.
And Ibid already has that.
I'm
And so
curious,
far-
as a fan of that stuff, like obviously it's early, but do you think
early.
you worried about the impact at all?
Here's my take on it real quick. Number one, Alamo Draft House was on the verge of bankruptcy and closing. So this keeps those places alive, keeps those people working, keeps, the place in business. And they're also keeping the Alamo Draft House CEO in place. And Sony has said that their goal is to keep the same feel of the place, not change anything about what its place is in the theatrical landscape as far as compared to other big chains of movie theaters.
Right.
Sony's not the first. It's been a while. It's been whatever. I think the article said 60 years since the last movie studio owned theater chain went or closed, and I can't even remember what it was. United Artists, maybe.
Oh,
That's been
that
shorter
sounds right.
time than United Artists. That was
That feels,
maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago. I remember hearing about it.
But the fact that they're keeping the CEO in place, that they've pledged to kind of keep the same feel of it. I'm hopeful. Obviously, if I feel like the things I love about Alamo Drafthouse change, then I'll take my business elsewhere, and I don't know where else, because this was the last bastion of we are kicking your ass out if you take out your phone or you start talking or you be rude to the other patrons.
Yeah, they
And
kind of had a
Richard will
thing.
throw your ass out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now Sony, I don't know. It's going to have to be a we'll see kind of thing, and it may take years to see, but I don't know. I hope they retain that magic.
I hope so, and I
Yeah.
hope they expand into more places. So, like in Utah, you can start going to Alamo Drafthouse movies and see what the hype is all about. And
What if they start
get
calling
some
it
of those-
PlayStation movies? What if they do that? That'll be bad.
Betamax Drafthouse.
Oh man, they're bringing it back.
We finally won the format wars.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
I'm
this
glad
one,
Alamo Drafthouse came up on this episode because Repo Man is one of the best ever examples of a movie that you can show again and again at a place like Alamo Drafthouse.
yeah,
It fits.
Right.
That whole cult classic kind of feel fits for that. And if it's kind of my, I don't know about issue, but kind of what I feel is the fundamental aspect of a cult classic is typically if you don't get in on that cult classic early on and kind of latch your hooks into it, then coming into a cult classic late makes you kind of go, I'm not sure I see why this is a cult
And
classic.
I think it's because of the passion of the previous people who were already there.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's like a little intimidating.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people who
And
go
to-
and see Rocky Horror Picture Show now and
Yeah,
maybe don't
yeah.
go to a showing where they're doing all the stuff that goes along with it. I feel
Yeah.
like they're like, oh, okay, I guess it's a B movie Frankenstein parody. Okay, I guess
Right.
musical.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, dude, the question is, what makes a cult classic, right? Like, what are the elements that make a movie not just a bad movie, but it's a cult classic?
Yeah.
And really, it has to do with a community forming around it, right? Like, there's something that it doesn't matter if this one is better than the next movie, right? Or it's worse
It
or whatever.
literally creates a cult.
Yeah, you
around
need
it.
the cult
Right.
part. Yeah.
The cult part.
The
Yep.
operative word of cult classic, I think, is cult. So Randy's right. You got to have the people
Yeah.
coalesce.
Right. So like there's probably other movies that we've never heard of that are like Rocky Horror, but the movie didn't generate a group of people who memorized all the songs and tell you got to come to a Alamo Drafthouse and bring spaghetti to throw at the screen and this kind of thing. And like those other movies are just as bad. Some of them are probably better actual movies, right? So like it's not at all about the quality of the movie, although I do think a cult classic starts with a bad movie.
Yeah.
You don't start a cult classic around
Usually,
a legit good movie.
usually I say it's a revolt. It's just very much like punk. It's a revolt against popular culture, and everybody else can agree that this movie is good. And the cults usually pop up around people who are like, why is more people not appreciating this? And you start looking for other people who can appreciate the same thing, and you kind of commensurate around that. And
Sure.
that's the
Sure,
So
but the
unfor-
reason it also to stay cult classic, it needs to not be that good. Like it needs to be kind of bad. And
it has to
the
have
reason it has to be bad enough to like other people will avoid it because they don't understand, man. They don't get
it
it.
has to be a barrier, right? It has to be
Right.
a barrier, just like the punk music that was in this movie. Punk is not accessible to a lot of people because they don't appreciate the language that's being spoken there. They don't appreciate the anarchy of what's going on. So
Yeah.
very, very parallel.
Yeah, when people hear punk music, if you're not into punk, you hear
Right.
yelling
Noise.
and screaming and noise, and it sounds discordant and lame, and you're not into it. And that's the
Yeah.
point: is that we're cool, you're not, therefore you
Barrier
don't get
to
it.
entry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an ancient form of gatekeeping. It's really all it is.
And so like I said
very much.
earlier, there's a really strong theme in this movie. And that is that
Is it aliens?
counterculture. Yeah, counterculture is something you don't understand. You're a normie and you don't understand counterculture. And to really drive that point, we have actual aliens invading. And so we can all agree we don't understand them. We have no idea what that's about. And that's a sort of it's like a mystery, right?
Yeah.
And it feels destructive, whether or not it actually is, right? The alien force feels like a menace, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's how the normies feel about the counterculture. And like it's great and everything, but then this movie doesn't live up to that. Like it's like the writer director like I don't think he realized how much he could have hung on Harry Dean Stanton. Harry Dean Stanton is in a different movie entirely.
Yeah.
which is
beginning to end.
great.
Yeah.
Which is I think works really well. This is Alex Cox's first film, right? This is directorial debut, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
um,
He
Yeah,
would go on to make some real shit, by the way. This is
But I will defend Sid and Nancy to the end. I feel like that's such a great biopic.
Oh, I didn't know he directed that. I
Yeah,
thought that was I thought he was just in it. I thought he was an actor in it. No? He directed that?
Let me double check that because I thought that was one he directed.
anyway, he's really
Maybe.
into this whole scene. And man, if you want to see somebody make a movie that integrates the ideology of what punk is into a film, I think this is about as best as I've seen.
Brian's
I really
right. He
appreciate
directed
it.
Sid and Nancy, and I agree. Sid and
Yeah.
Nancy's awesome. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I'm shocked by that because some of this shit is so bad. Like when he comes back around to this, he may as well get this over with, but he made that, what is it, Repo Chick? Is that it?
Repo Chick,
yeah,
which was it's the spiritual successor to Repo Man. And yeah,
What happened with that though?
Well, that was intentional though, right? This was the mid 2000s, early on, before we really had like everybody had a camera in their pocket. I mean, we were talking about how you're going to film something on a super low budget, but still film it, with real actors that that actually get paid. And
yeah, but these aren't real actors though. Have you seen who's in that? Like,
I think that he said, okay, we've got this much money, and we're not gonna not pay our actors or have some kind of freebie work or anything. I think that's the way it felt anyway. Like maybe it just felt like that. It's like, well, what can we do with the money we have and still respect the content creators, even if it means that the actual end product suffers.
Right. Everyone at home, go watch that trailer. You'll see what we mean. It's very weird.
Yeah.
I don't recommend maybe watching the movie.
It's all green screen. Just imagine everything in this film is green screen and it looks weird. All right?
It's
it looks
very
like,
weird. It's a college
full motion
project.
Video. Yeah, it looks like full motion video games from the 90s is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And
somehow there's bit parts for Rosanna Arquette and Frances Bay, who played the Marble Rye old lady in Seinfeld, who ran with the Marble Rye.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow she's in that. But okay, back to Repo Man #1. Here's the thing. He made a Tarantino movie that wasn't good. That's what this is. And I mean it all the way down to the alien car being like the briefcase in that.
But realize, of course, listener, we do know that Tarantino come later on. This was a closer reflection of what Tarantino would tap into later, which is what was going on during the 70s, and this was happening.
Yeah,
here with
but
Alex
that-
Cox.
yeah.
I feel like what this movie is if you took you basically had a map and you plotted, right over here is Tarantino movieburg, and then over here is that movie Slacker that we watched, Town, and then and then followed the highway. Halfway between those two towns is this movie right here.
Emilio
feels
Estevez
like it.
plays the greatest slacker, because
Yes.
he wasn't just a slacker. He was a slacker with maybe some kind of motivation somewhere in there. Like most of us probably growing up, it's like most of it you feel like everything's out of your control. You don't have control over anything, and it's just like F you. This really was a really good reflection of how I felt growing up in the 80s, and we in America all have we have different experiences in how things happened, and this was a good reflection.
I think that's
of
true
how
of
some
anywhere.
people,
I don't think it's just America, by the way.
well, I think I'm specifically talking about America because I'm about to say, if you lived during the Reagan years, you either saw it as the greatest time for Americans or you saw it as a very repressive time. And so I want to say that if that was your experience, that's what's represented here. This repressive time,
kind of underbelly.
Like
it made me never want to go to LA again, even though I know I can avoid those areas. But man, they really, the way they portray LA is what I think of when I was a kid, and I would go to LA with my dad. Yeah. And we'd drive out there and then drive back or whatever, and we would always stay in the parts of town that look like these places. And boy, it gave me like, it's not nostalgia. What is nostalgia when it makes you feel gross? What do you call that? It's like a
reality.
Disgust.
Why-
I
why
yeah,
have
I know
we-
what you're saying.
You know
but
what I
yeah,
mean,
don't know.
though? Like a feeling
It's
that you
the
only had when
opposite
you were a
of-
kid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the opposite of the nostalgic feeling. It's the I don't know. It's
Gross-
nostalgia.
gross-
How's
it's
that? Not
nostalgic
How's
or
that?
gross.
Nostalgic.
It's more like gross-stalgic or something. It's just a kind of
Yeah.
a icky feeling I get
It's
when I
scars.
watch it. Yeah.
I feel like we've watched a lot of this lately. Like it reminded me of The Hitcher, obviously. Like the beginning is straight from The Hitcher, or vice versa. It reminded me of Boys in the Hood a lot because
Yeah.
you realize it's probably just due to the nature of how cheaply you can film in South and East LA. Or, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that we probably are seeing a lot of ghetto LA just because that's where they could go easily make a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
They talk
Probably.
about that some in some of the documentary stuff that's done on this, and they talk about filming the way they had to because they had to. He had a different vision in mind, but yeah, you just film on location where you can.
Not to
And if there's
usurp-
a bunch
not-
of people there. That's fine.
Not to usurp a potential future roundtable, but
Yeah.
if this is somebody's cult classic, do you guys have one like that? Like I was just thinking of Ibit in like Spice World for some reason,
Yeah, or Hudson Hawk,
or Hudson Hawk. Even yeah,
Unfortunately-
that's a good one.
Unfortunately, most of the movies that I like alone, I really like alone. Like Sucker Punch, it's like there's no cult around that. There's no rallying cult around.
Oh, I don't
that
know.
shit.
Those Snyder people, dude, they're pretty culty. Although it's not,
Yeah,
you're right, it's not
maybe.
usually around this movie though. It's usually around
No.
Snyderverse, like DC stuff, but they're pretty hardcore. But you're right. I think you kind of live there alone. You're on your own on that
Yeah, I
one.
live there on my own there. It's like Bryan Island. It's like, well, I liked it.
I'd visit Bryan Island. That sounds like a
I would
fun place
totally
to go.
visit
Yeah.
that. Have a summer home.
Come
on
in,
Bryan
welcome
Island.
in.
Yeah. And Bryan
We'll
Island.
We'll
Yeah.
be showing bullshit all day. Welcome. Come on in.
Yeah, old video games and bullshit on VHS.
Right. Yeah,
That's how
can't
that'll
wait.
be. Is this our first viewing for everybody here?
Yeah, first for me.
Yeah,
I think
same.
I've
Seen it
seen
on
so
TV.
many parts of it.
Yeah. Yes. That's
I
me
mix
too.
it
I've
up with
seen
the
parts
one he did with his brother. That's like a garbage man thing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I made reference to that last week, and I was like,
Trash-
no, wait,
Trash
I did it
Man?
again.
No.
Trash
Men
men.
working, men at work,
Men at work.
Men at work.
Men at work.
men at
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
Now I just hearing songs by Men at Work.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
This is working.
Yeah.
What? Hello.
Working
Here we
men.
go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely
hi.
first viewing for me, and I don't think that I have ever been into a cult classic like enough to say that I was into it. You know, like
right.
I really,
right.
I did go along with my much older sister to a couple of viewings of Rocky Horror, and like I'm aware of, like, we've sacked a bunch of cult classics, right? Like I'm aware of these regular viewings of The Room, and I
The
don't
Room is a great
really,
example.
you know, like I don't really go for it. I was like thinking through, like, what have I seen recently, like advertised, right? So like go to Los Angeles and everybody's going to watch Donnie Darko is one. I just don't, those just don't
like
really.
I
I
like
think-
Donnie Darko, but I'm not
Yeah.
like, once again, not a cult fan. I'm not like,
The
ooh,
only-
gotta watch Donnie Darko again.
As much as I like Spice World and Hudson Hawk, the only one I've actually gone to cult viewing events would be Rocky Horror. I've been to see Rocky Horror in a theater with people doing stuff around it 4 times, and only the last time was did Tina go with me. All the other previous times were during college and pre being married to Tina. But so she had that experience of like, okay, I'm coming in on this thing that all these people are fully entrenched in and really,
Yeah.
really love. And I'm seeing it for the first time. It's like, okay, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
But she wasn't like, yeah, I totally see why it's a cult classic. It's like, it very much, I can see why you all like it.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I respect that you like it. Oh, you know what? I will
Yeah.
take it. I will say there is one I'm looking through now. I'm like, oh, well, maybe there's some that I don't think are cult classics, but actually are. And I am seeing one of these is They Live. And
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Brian does They Live. I live in They Live
You
Down.
live,
And I
They Live.
love
That was-
talking
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
I knew we
so-
were gonna compare this movie to They Live. You have to
Yeah,
compare this
yeah,
movie to
yeah.
They Live.
Oh,
John
interesting.
Carpenter
Yeah.
made such a better version of this movie. You know,
That's a really
Interesting.
interesting
Yeah.
point.
Consumerism, the consumerism, conspiracy, that from that aspect, absolutely.
Yeah,
You know,
but
it's
back
like,
but back to this point about the Tarantino style thing. You got a crime drama mixed in with a MacGuffin in a car, or in their case it was a briefcase. In this case, it's a car, and you never really know what's going on there. Like it does take off and they
once
leave,
again,
but it's it's not
before
it's never explained. Yeah, go ahead.
I know some people are still so angry, even though we've said already. Don't email us. We know Tarantino stuff came afterwards.
No, I'm not implying it came before. I'm not.
He ripped it off.
Yeah, I'm not
Right,
saying
right,
that.
right.
I'm not saying
It's a
that.
thing
I'm
that we've seen since.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction in particular is really the one I'm focused on here. But it's like that can work really well, where what you expect is disrupted once in a while by a thing that's like, wait, what is that mystery about? And this, I think this movie just is a piss poor version of that. This is a better version of this movie if you take out the alien shit, because I don't think any of that mattered at all.
I hated the alien shit, but it's the one thing that makes this movie memorable. If you take out the UFO part, it's like there's a lot of great things going on, a lot of discussions, a lot of fun things, and some depressing things. But if you take out the aliens, I forget about this movie.
It's half the plot. And I wanted to ask Ibit, do you agree with me? Did you actually have this thought watching this movie? Wow, this is 45 minutes of plot stretched to 90 minutes.
Yeah, boy, 45 minutes even feels like very generously slathered on and out. I wasn't kidding when I complained to Slacker as being like a series of conversations very loosely connected by a plot. And
that's what this movie is.
The conversations in this movie obviously center more about what it's like being a repo man and time travel and stuff like that. But,
and Alex Cox worked in Repo for a while, right? That was his.
This was from his experience, and some of this was actual this actually happened to me kind of stuff. I think probably everything but the spaceship car, right? Flying around the city of LA in the sky.
I'm certain that happened to Alex Cox. I am certain. Most of the things that are most fantastic in this movie feel like they came straight from a drug trip, and that is how you construct a movie like this. You get high and like so. Scott brought up the Miller character earlier, Tracy Walter, and that's a self-insert, right? That's
Alex Cox, basically, right? He's
right.
It's
the trope of the Cloud Cuckoo Lander. If you've ever heard that before,
God, I love Tracy Walter so much.
I do too. Yeah.
And the Cloud Cuckoo Lander is always the screenwriter. Like that is a person who is stating what the screenwriter thought while getting high. And then Emilio Estevez is us, right? He's a blank slate. He's an observer. We're just in there observing all this stuff going on.
The proxy,
and so, like,
audience proxy.
Yeah, exactly. And he really he's really good at being a blank slate, by the way.
He's so I thought I mean, I like Emilio Estevez, always have, but man, in this film, I was getting raw Emilio, and I liked it.
I felt like we missed out on not getting more role. Maybe he did more stuff like this and I just never seen it, but I really liked this. Like my experience with him is right around the same time, 1 year later, he would be in Breakfast Club, right?
Breakfast Club, yeah.
And then you would sort of attach him to all things Brat Pack, and anytime there was a.
Did you guys ever see?
Speaking of that,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you guys ever see Judgment Night?
No.
With
Cuba Gooding and Stephen Dorff and Dennis Leary and Jeremy Piven, and they're like they got like it's just the greatest movie. It is
really good, and it's perfect for film sack. That would be a great film sack watch. The funny you bring up it's not funny that you bring up Brat Pack. We were definitely bound to bring up Brat Pack, but has anybody but me watched the new Bratz?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
It's on my list to watch soon. It's out now, right? As of a couple days ago.
It's out now. Yeah. Randy, were you expecting? Did you go Jeff Goldblum style? You are going to have Brat Pack members in your Brat Pack movie.
I don't. Yeah, I did. I actually, yes, I had way higher expectations than it could possibly meet. But what really bugged me about it is, in the end, I felt like maybe I'm being lied to. Maybe there's like, this is like this one guy's take on reality.
I mean, Yes and no. It seems like everybody, if they could have gotten Judd Nelson, if they could have gotten Molly Ringwald, if they could have gotten, and boy, not even a mention of Anthony Michael Hall, who I would say, because of 16
Yeah.
Candles and Breakfast Club, should absolutely be considered a member of the Brat
Yeah.
Pack. Um,
Yeah, it's kind of felt like an outsider even then, so that was good. I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah.
But
Reflective of
boy,
life.
this one, I mean, this is in the trailer for it, so hopefully not a spoiler. But basically, and I've already spoiled it by saying you don't get Judge Reinhold, Judd Nelson, or Molly Ringwald. But you Emilio Estevez, even more put off and pissed off by the Brat Pack label than
Yeah.
Andrew McCarthy, and I feel unrightly so based on things. I feel like it was I don't know, the movie might have been a little bit of a nothing burger as far as like here's how it felt to be a member of this group that was unfairly labeled the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm saying, well, it was based on the Rat Pack,
Yeah.
and they just found something that rhymed, and Brat, because
Yeah.
you guys were young, it wasn't meant as like, I mean, maybe it was meant by this one guy, the author of the article that penned the name, as, well, these guys have had a lot of stuff handed to them because they're young and they capture this movie audience, but really, that's kind of 10% of it. 90% of it is it rhymed with Rat Pack. So
Yeah, I mean
use-
you're right. Just 90% of it rhymed. It was some way to
Yeah.
sell it's a headline. It sells.
yeah,
And-
exactly.
And
Mhm.
mainly it's because people liked the Breakfast Club, right? Like that
Right,
really
right.
this whole idea exists because that movie is so beloved.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
like you want every one of those actors to be together again and again.
Yeah, but then you
so
wouldn't
they
have
all
your
shine.
well, yeah, but no Andrew McCarthy even in that movie. So I feel like you're right, but I think it's St. Elmo's Fire is kind of the one that everybody thinks
Mhm.
of.
That's the one that they
Yeah.
use most throughout that movie to show Brat Packdom.
But
Yeah.
I'm
is
saying
St. Elmo's
I'm
Fire.
saying
Yeah.
that like when you talk about Brat Pack movies, right? Like Pretty in Pink has a couple of them. Some
Right.
Kind of Wonderful has one of them. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's not really a ton.
I didn't need the full Brat Pack to get a taste of
Yeah.
them. I preferred getting chunks, and it's like, how do you mix these three together? Okay, let's mix these three over on this one. That's how I enjoyed the Brat Pack. I
Yeah.
didn't St. Elmo's Fire. Pfft, who watched that? You bunch of weirdos.
Well, yeah, but that's my point. Is I think that the term came from that, and then we just
Yeah.
assigned whatever we wanted from it. Like,
Right.
when
Like
I
I
remember
said,
the time, it was like
fun.
a term of like it wasn't negative when I was of
Yeah.
age. I was like, oh no,
Yeah,
these guys are cool, man. Call us
Just the
brats.
group you wanted to be part of, and that sort
Yeah.
of thing. And zero mention also of the Frat Pack, the Will Ferrell,
yeah.
Wilson brothers,
Yeah.
Paul Rudd.
Oh
that whole
right,
group, which
Yeah,
is
because they did all
so-
those frat things. Yeah, another
Yeah.
clever
Yeah, and-
twist.
And then we have the Seth Rogen offshoot there. Like
Oh.
I guess the Judd Apatow is really the
that's who I
center
would
of the
consider. Yeah, I
Frat
think
Pack,
he's
right?
all part of that too. Yeah.
Right.
What's his face?
We really like
Yeah.
associating people. We see a movie that's got 2 or 3 people in it that they do a good job. We want
Mhm.
more of them, you know?
yeah.
I mean, we want Matthew Lillard, Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, and we want all those people to form a pact, right?
Do we? I don't know if we do or not.
They're a pack.
Having said that, one of the things about Repo Man that really stuck out for me was I didn't want to ever see Harry Dean Stanton talk to Emilio Estevez ever again in my life. Like I'm like, how did someone cut this together and go, oh, this is a good movie?
Well, based
really-
on the trivia, he hated it.
Right.
Terry Dean Stanton was constantly like grumpy and pissed, and when the scene would end, he'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm out of here! I freaking hate this."
Yeah.
And they tried to write him out of it toward the end,
To
and you
the-
notice he was
to the
way
point-
he was in way less toward the end of this film.
He's unhappy to the point that the trivia states Harry Dean Stanton in the baseball bat scene wanted it to swing a real baseball bat at his fellow actors. That's how upset he was. He wanted to actually physically harm his fellow actors.
Yeah, he's a grumpy old cuss, known for it, like famous for it,
Yeah.
but also that dude's really interesting. I could watch him eat a cake. I really
that'd
like
be
it.
fun.
is, yeah.
The Harry Dean Stanton cake. I bet you he'd get it from like some box cake that was from the grocery store that just said cake on it. That would be great.
Probably just cake.
Just a white box cake.
White
Just
box
good
with cake on it.
Mom.
Yeah,
Real good.
thanks for
Don't
the
need
cake.
put on a plate. Do you guys all have a favorite Harry Dean Stanton film?
Paris, Texas probably is my favorite,
that's
but I
good.
also really liked him in Alien, so I'm kind of partial.
yeah, he was really good in
Alien. Yeah, Alien's great.
He was really good in Alien.
Yeah.
I like Wild at Heart, the Nicolas Cage, David Lynch film where basically he's sent across the country to track down Nicolas Cage and rescue Laura Dern from him, basically, but she doesn't want to be quote unquote rescued from him.
Oh,
He's-
right. I forgot
it's just
about
him
that.
driving across country for so much of the film, smoking cigarettes and riding in his car. From
Yeah.
what I remember, it
My
might be different.
Yeah.
Now it's not a movie, but my favorite role was Roman in Big Love. My God.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
You know, he
dude. Awesome
God, he was so
pick.
good in that.
He just
Yeah.
I hated him so much. I'm like, oh, you're doing so good right now.
No, he was
So
a
good.
horrible man in that. He was good as
Yeah.
Toot Toot in the Green Mile. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
This-
yeah.
Give
this-
me, please.
Walking
give
the
me,
mile.
Yeah.
Give me
walking the
Harry
mile.
Dean Stanton and Down Periscope. He is. he is.
Randy
in that
loves
movie.
that movie. I
Yeah,
have yet
you
to
do love that
because
movie.
because it's so good.
Yeah.
Harry Dean Stanton is like an old Navy man who's like career Navy, and he's served on submarines for like 50 years at this point. And he's
yeah.
he's got all these young like recruits coming onto an old boat, and he's the guy like the cook. And he's like the cook who teaches them how submarines work. Oh, he's so funny.
Yeah. For a guy that
I guess
got.
I need to see Down Periscope. I think you're
Yeah,
convinced.
we have
that
to
at some
see
point I
it
just
at
need to
some
watch
point in
that damn
time.
thing.
You know what?
Just
I'm
so
with
Randy will
Randy
be
on that one. I like that
delivered.
movie for. I don't know why I even like it. It's stupid. It's great though. I like that movie a lot.
Can y'all make a cult around it? Can y'all do that?
Probably do a little cult. Yeah,
Little
I think
cult-
so.
little cult around it?
But Harry Dean Stanton.
Kelsey Grammer as a weirdo with a tattoo on his dick is just it just doesn't get funnier than this.
Yeah, it's pretty great. By the way, I always forget this until I see it again. I'm like, oh yeah, right. He played a security guard in the Avengers when the Hulk landed and turned back into Bruce Banner,
Oh,
and he's
my
laying
God.
he's laying in the rubble, and the security guy comes up,
Oh,
and
right.
that's Harry Dean Stanton. It's
Naked Ruffalo, and he's like,
yeah, I mean it's very much
Yeah.
a cameo and not a role really,
Yeah.
but I'd love that. And he also came back. I just had mad respect for this, but in 2014 when they put out Alien Isolation, one of the greatest horror games of all time. My gosh.
Yeah.
He came back as Brett and did a voice
Yeah.
for his original character. I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, he's awesome, or at least I think that was the character. It might have been a different guy. Anyway, the guy lived till 91, died in 2017. Hadn't been that long.
Good job. Way to go.
Yeah.
I love it.
He was in that Twin
Hey.
Peaks revival that
yes, he was.
Ibbot loved. Yeah, or I just haven't seen it.
And, you know, he was so good in that. I had to remind myself: was he ever in the original Twin Peaks? He wasn't, but my God, he feels like he fit so much in the original Twin Peaks.
He's just such a weird looking dude, and just
is.
Yeah.
especially the older he got, the more I was into it. I was
Yeah.
like,
yeah. He looked old
Haggard
always.
and-
yeah,
But
yeah.
He just got even better as he got older.
I keep
It's wild.
hearing that we should all see the movie. Came out in 2017, the year he died. We should all see Lucky. Apparently, that is a
Oh, I've heard that.
great movie. Yeah, directed by John Carroll Lynch, who you usually think of as like comedic roles. He's an actor normally.
Yeah.
And it's full of these weird actors like David Lynch is in it, Ed Begley Jr., Ron Livingston, Tom Skerritt, bringing the Alien team back together. Like I keep hearing about this thing. People say, "Dude, I shouldn't skip that one. That was a great movie." Still haven't seen it.
Well, that's okay. We'll get to it. Now I'll tell you who wasn't old. Emilio Estevez. He was so young in here.
Oh
His
my
tiny
gosh.
whitey's running around,
So young.
constantly trying to insinuate he was going to get a BJ. I was like, slow down, Emilio.
Yeah.
Slow down.
I love that this movie has some negatives to say about religion, while Emilio Estevez is wearing a
Especially
crucifix
Scientology.
earring the entire movie. He's wearing a
Especially
crucifix earring.
Scientology, right? And
Oh, yeah.
big
Yeah.
church.
Oh,
basically.
is he a Scientologist guy?
No, they just brought it up a whole.
Oh.
Well, they brought up a
That-
kind of Scientology.
Yeah,
it was
that
definitely meant
evangelist
to be,
dude. Yeah.
and then the evangelist dude as well.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing back then. I thought Scientology was newer than 84.
Diuretics, right? It was.
Oh, because they
Yeah,
called it
yeah,
diuretics.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right, they made
reference to.
I love that they called it diuretics. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Yeah, because Dianetics, the book Dianet. That's right. I totally forgot about that. But I don't think the actual like organization was a thing yet. I think his book was a thing, but-
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It was just the book.
But
Yeah.
we saw where it was going, right? I mean, we did see where we were all aware of where it was going. Maybe
Well,
maybe
Alex
not.
Cox saw where it was going at least.
Yeah,
Right,
I didn't
right.
know about it. I'd never heard of it until probably, I don't know. I think maybe the very first time I really heard about it was when Tom Cruise was jumping on couches. I think that was the first time.
Yeah,
I was really...
it's like, why is he doing that? Scientology. Oh, okay.
Well,
Okay, now it
I
makes
just
sense.
looked it up, and the Church of Scientology developed through the 50s and 60s.
Well, it's when he
And-
wrote his book was in 52, right? But what?
And then this movie comes along after Scientology had kind of swept through Los Angeles in the 70s.
Yeah, it must have been. It must have existed. It just wasn't like it is now. Like,
Oh yeah, not like most of the rest of the country wasn't really aware of it until a little, I think. But watching like the old crap of what was going on, how it got built up.
yeah,
Why do I watch that stuff? Why do I watch that? Because I like to be mad.
yeah.
I like to be mad.
You like to be outrage farmed. You've been farmed.
Yeah. Why am I so
People do,
outraged right
yeah.
now?
Yeah, you're so
People
pissed.
want to be pissed.
What
Yeah.
really made me mad was watching Emilio Estevez eat peaches out of an open can that had been left in the refrigerator. That is the worst. Isn't that like to be poisoned or something? Freaking eating open canned food out of the refrigerator. It sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. The
I
microbes fall right in,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
and
I'm
then
like,
they
that's
grow,
not a
they
good
grow in
idea.
that sugar water. Yep.
Ah,
Yeah,
brr.
I don't like that either. I'm not a fan of that. That's
Yeah,
gross.
I mean,
No.
I don't think it would kill you, but it's like it doesn't
It doesn't
interest
help.
me.
It doesn't.
But a nice cold can of cling peaches slices
Cling
sounds
peaches,
really
yeah.
good. In what sauce? Heavy sauce or heavy
Yeah.
Oh, what do they call that?
heavy-
Heavy
syrup.
Sugar
Heavy
sauce.
syrup.
heavy syrup.
Heavy
There you
syrup.
go.
That's
Heavy
it?
syrup.
It's definitely not sauce.
Heavy sauce.
Peach sauce. No, I agree with you. There is nothing quite like that in the right situation, right? As long as it's canned well,
Yeah.
it should be okay.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, but
movie
no,
almost.
No, it might have been canned well originally. I'm talking about once you've taken the can opener and opened it up and ran around with it a couple of times and forked a couple of spoonfuls out and then threw it in the refrigerator. That
Yeah.
just seems like a recipe for botulism. I don't know, something bad.
I have some.
I
yeah.
never want a whole can of peaches. I want to eat about 2/3 of a can of peaches.
Yeah.
And so like somebody's figured out how to sell the most peaches, right?
You're not
It's
wrong.
like, it's the amount of packaging. It's the amount of packaged peaches that I don't want. It's
Yeah.
I have felt regret after having a complete serving or what I assume is a complete serving, which is the whole can, right? I have had regrets
Yeah.
for peaches from
Well,
you
2/3 of a
feel
can is
real
a
heavy.
complete serving, apparently.
Yeah, you feel very heavy. It's
Yeah.
like, why do I feel so heavy?
Yeah. I don't like feeling heavy. I want to
No.
feel light. Is what I want to feel.
Right.
There's a bunch of trivia in this movie for this movie about the car being stolen.
Yeah.
And it must have been an instant legend for Alex Cox to tell people, right? So like they had this one Chevy Malibu that they
Yeah.
were using, and he decided to drive it himself somewhere
Nice.
in Los Angeles and park it, and like he's inside eating a meal, and the car gets stolen. Like he
Was eating a plate of shrimp,
probably
right?
the West Coast,
Right.
but like
Yeah,
it's just like there's so many pieces of trivia about the car was stolen. We get it. The car was stolen. Oh no,
Yeah,
the car was
yeah.
stolen. He must have told this story 1,000 times for
Well, I
it
think
to
it's-
be so
yeah.
heavy in the trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be. He must have felt like it was ironic or appropriate because the car gets stolen constantly. It's constantly changing hands. And I tried not to dig too deep because I know there's probably nothing there. I was like, well, what does this constant changing of hands in the car mean? I'm like, shut up, Brian. Doesn't matter. There's an alien in the freaking trunk and it's made out of sausages. That's what's important. here.
Yeah,
Stay
that's the
focused.
important thing. Sure, don't forget
Right.
the important thing. There's some trivia here too that's interesting about the lobotomized guy that drove the car around. By the way,
Yeah.
the lobotomy behavior is nothing like what that guy was doing. That was
No.
that was
I
weird.
don't think you should be able to drive.
Lobotomy doesn't split the spheres of the brain. It splits the emotional center from the rest of the brain, right? Because in the frontal cortex.
Yeah,
or
it just
something like
chills
that.
you
I
out.
don't know.
If it's done right and you don't have any complications, and we don't do this anymore, it's considered cruel and
Yeah.
horrible. But it's supposed to just make you kind of docile and you don't care.
Detaches your emotional part of your brain, which
Yeah.
is the front but not your spheres, because that's what they're implying. Because the guy's he's talking to himself.
Yeah.
About the guy driving. He's got a shade on one side of his glasses and not a shade on the other. It's supposed to be this split personality.
Yeah, that's the idea, but they didn't get that part right. But
what do you
anyway,
expect from a Repo Man?
well, but
Right.
the point is, the whole point I was getting to is Lance Hendrickson was supposed to play that guy.
He would be perfect.
Something
God.
fell apart at the last second. Dennis Hopper was then considered, but according to this, his erratic behavior at the time ultimately made him unusable or unsuitable for the part. So he was out.
Which is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, he was a mess back then.
Right.
Dennis Hopper. He was like, I don't know how anyone worked with that guy.
Yeah.
But here's I got scrutiny. All right. Here's some scrutiny. It says here the company that makes Christmas tree air fresheners was one of the sponsors of the film.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? No, there's no
Right.
way.
This movie had zero sponsors. This movie,
Right. No
Yeah,
chance. It just somebody
No
said,
chance.
"Wow, they sure have a lot of those tree air fresheners. I'll bet they were a sponsor. I'm going to put that in the
every car had, and
trivia."
it was pretty. They were pretty good about being accurate with that kind of stuff in the final film, making sure they, if they said something, they kept it true. And it was even like after they said that about the tree. Then they popped over to the cop who had taped one to his motorcycle windshield, which is
Right.
hilarious. Of course, that's pointless.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It was
no
just
sponsorships.
it was a new idea. That when this
Yeah.
movie was being made, the Christmas tree air freshener was a new idea.
Yeah,
You know,
it's everywhere.
same with the word dildo. My God,
my
Alex
gosh.
Cox was
That was fun.
overwhelmed by the newness of the word
More like
dildo.
Alex Cox.
Oh,
Yeah.
he loved the word
I
dildo.
love that word. That's the crutch word, basically.
Yeah, crotch word, really.
Crotch word.
Yeah.
But it was all the time. I think I captured a few, but that dude really was fond of the word dildo, and he really thought he thought the gang members in 1984 were a combination of listen here, see, and punk. He was really confused. I'll play clips later that where I can show this, but it was like, what is the dialogue you are speaking, gang?
Yeah. It's an interesting time because we did have in some larger cities in the U.S. we were coming out of a time of really high crime, and cities were really cracking down on crime, and so trying to figure out what they were going to do with certain areas and regions. There were some things they wanted to talk about in this movie, and they just didn't do it because instead they were running around following a glowing Chevy Malibu with sausage. They showed us for a second, and I kept thinking, do I want to pause this and see exactly what
So brief, so quick. Yeah.
what exactly they are representing as a picture of the aliens? I'm like, nah, I think I'll leave that as a mystery.
Yeah, just let that one wash over you like an idea you'll never get an
Instead,
answer to.
I'm going to sit here and think about that baby alien in the UFO place where Emilio Estevez is trying to get a BJ.
A BJ in his underwear. Yeah, that was
his
something.
underwear's tiny whities.
So
Yeah.
bizarre.
That was very weird. I also
How
found
bizarre.
out there is a Canadian town. Randy, you may be near it right now where you're recording this today. But there's a Canadian town called Dildo. We talked about this on Core, but yeah, it's like an
Jimmy
island.
Kimmel, I think, was the mayor for a while.
The mayor of Dildo. Fantastic.
Yeah.
They also said here there's an alternate ending. This may need some scrutiny, but anyway, alternate ending had the entire city being annihilated by a nuke. The whole thing exploded in a big nuclear explosion.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is factual compared to the other interviews that we had heard where they didn't have the budget. They had to they had to do different things. What can you do? Well, what can we do? We can't blow up a city. That's going to be expensive to even replicate. What can we do? We can make a Malibu glow and then shoot it low so it looks like Emilio Estevez is flying through the city. How does that sound?
Also,
Perfect.
filmmakers don't like to get to the end of a project and eliminate all of their characters and everything that they've established. They actually like to preserve all that stuff. Like filmmakers will go out of their way to keep characters alive and give you a sense that they're still kicking. At the end of the thing,
because otherwise it makes the whole movie pointless. It's like, well, great, why'd I watch this if all the characters were going to die at the end?
All my investment.
The original Little Shop of Horrors. Well, not the original, not the Corman one, but the Frank Oz directed one, right, from the 80s. The original ending of that was that Audrey 2 was going to grow so huge she was going to eat everybody in the city, and they filmed it. And they, for a hot minute, put it on a DVD special edition that the production company the whoever it was, Warner Brothers, or I can't remember who it was,
Probably Warner Brothers.
yanked from the shelves
Yeah.
immediately,
No.
making that
No.
DVD a collector's item for people who have it and who can finally watch that alternate ending of Little Shop of Horrors,
Really? That's
which
cool.
I own.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have a copy of that DVD.
Nice.
I think
Yeah, go ahead.
talking about weird production stuff, the thing that probably made me laugh the most, because I was trying to figure out if this was a product of what they had to do, but literally they said that it is raining ice cubes. It is hailing ice cubes. I'm like, did they just not have any other way to do that? They just had to go with ice cubes or something? They like had a whole bunch of ice cubes that were frozen and they just dumped them out.
When did,
like,
when did
what
that
happened?
happen? I missed that. When?
At the very end, there's like there's
Oh,
radio talk. It's
before
like,
they're all approaching the car, right?
yes, they're approaching the
right.
car in the
Yeah.
final scenes at the repo.
I
lot.
wondered about that too. That's funny you bring that
but
up because
I
it's like,
was like, what a weird thing to do, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that was because they got ice and they had to use cubes. They said, well, we need to write that in, you know, because it doesn't look like hail; it looks like ice cubes.
yeah,
And,
that was weird.
I thought weird and funny.
Also,
I
so
tried
the dude, who's the guy? Sorry, you said his name before, and I love that actor, and I can't find his name.
Tracy Walter.
Tracy Walter. That guy, I knew him mostly, I think, from, was it one of the Bob Newhart shows or something? Am I thinking of the wrong
No,
guy?
you're thinking of Daryl, my brother.
Oh,
He might have made a cameo
Yeah.
in that too, though. But I don't
And
know.
so easy to get him
Love it.
confused with the guy
Yeah.
from Blade Runner,
Yeah,
Sebastian. Yeah,
They kind of feel the same.
they
spot,
very
right?
much do. Yeah. I don't know if we've watched. As soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, it's the dude from Conan the Destroyer, which I can't remember if
He
we
was.
watched here,
Yeah.
but he was the humor member of
Malik?
the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Is that
100%
right?
did. We did
Yeah.
watch that, and he
I
is in
love
that.
movie.
Yeah, that movie's
Is
great.
that a cult classic?
Yes.
Is that a cult classic? Because
Yes.
I'm very culty about that one.
Yes.
I love that shit.
This is only our third Tracy Walter movie, and previously we sacked Batman and the Octagon. He was in the Octagon.
Oh my
okay.
gosh!
Was
Wait,
the Octagon? I remember that. I
So
remember
we
the
haven't
Batman
watched
part.
Conan the Destroyer here.
did
I
we?
could have sworn we had.
We watched one of the Conans here, right?
No, we did
Sure.
too. We watched Conan, didn't we?
Because
we
we
might
saw
have
Red
watched
Sonja
Conan the
at some point. Maybe
Barbarian.
we just watched. Did we just watch Red
Oh,
Sonja?
Destroyer's the sequel.
The sequel, yeah, with Will Chamberlain, Grace Jones, Olivia d'Abo, and
You're right, dude. We
this
didn't.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is far the more film sacky of the
Yeah,
two,
yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Octagon, we have not done. I don't know why we have that down. Let's see, Octagon. Yeah, we don't have Octagon. We should watch the
Octagon.
Octagon. We should watch that. There's a
Should we?
classic with
Should we?
cult classicness
Cult.
in it.
Well, if you search for it under Octagon, you won't find it. But
Gotcha.
Octagon.
No.
Octagon?
The Octagon with an A, right?
Octagon. Yeah, with an A.
Octagon. That's what I have. What do I have?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, we
So
did.
what did I write?
Octagon.
Did we really see this? I don't remember this at all. Shit. Yeah, 2014 we watched this. What was
That's the
the
reason why you don't remember.
I
That
don't
was 10 years
remember
ago,
it
Scott. That was 10 years ago, brother.
Chuck Norris? I don't remember this shit.
Yeah.
Completely don't remember it. Lee Van
Yeah.
Cleef. Where the hell? Where is this memory? Was it that unnotable that we just completely?
Probably.
Wow.
Well, on the other side of that concern, Scott, I want you to know this is our 6th Emilio Estevez movie,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
every one
not
of
bad.
these are bangers, and we need to make Emilio Estevez a priority when we're
Judgment
scheduling
Night.
for Film Sack.
Let's do it.
We have now seen him in this Free Jack, Maximum Overdrive, Mission Impossible, The Breakfast Club, and Young Guns.
Yeah.
That's an amazing
He
list of
may
movies.
be the wheel and the spoke of the films I like. He may be it.
He might be the one.
Yeah, might be the one.
I mean, what was the? Sorry, you just mentioned it. And I forgot the name already. The one with the machines that take over. The Stephen King one. What's that
Maximum
called?
Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive.
Green
That was-
Goblin, semi.
That was one of my favorite live sacks we ever did for Nerdtacular.
Yeah.
That was one of our
Oh, right.
yeah.
stage ones. That was really good.
Is that also a cult classic? See, I don't even know what a cult classic is. I just call those movies. Maybe
So,
I'm
it's-
doing it wrong.
Maximum Overdrive is the perfect example of a movie in the right tier of goodness,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
you have to have people get together and watch it, right, for it to be a cult classic. Like, and I was thinking about this. Like, we want to say a cult classic is a legit bad movie, and that unfortunately rules out some movies that fit the bill. Like, The Big Lebowski is not a cult classic by that definition. It's a good movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Right.
fair point.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it
It's a good
depends on
movie.
your point of view, but yeah. I noticed that he's not doing much. Like, it kind of just chills out. He's got
J.C. Walter?
No.
No. Emilio Estevez.
He decided to focus on directing.
I got you.
Yeah, I mean, even then, I don't know, man. Like, he came back for that Mighty Ducks series in 2021. Previous to that, 2018, but that was just deleted scenes from a Breakfast Club thing. Prior to that, something called The Public, where he played something in 2018, and then it's like 2012, 2008, 2005. Like, he's not sitting around cranking shit out. He strikes me as a guy who's maybe like, I don't really feel like doing. I'll do a project if I like it, and
there you go.
Forget it. I don't need to be seen the way my brother does, or the way my people expect us to be.
I feel like Emilio is better than his dad or his little brother, like a better actor.
Well, I don't know about his dad, but his brother for
he's
sure.
More compelling for me. He's definitely more compelling.
Definitely better than Charlie, but I don't know about Martin. Martin Sheen's great.
It's
close.
This is just my opinion, but like the one who didn't change his name is the one that I think is the better actor. It's interesting.
Maybe because he's more my generation. Maybe that's the reason why I appreciate him more, maybe. But I'm gonna say he's the best of them. But that's just me.
His was the most impactful. No one ever says this because they think they are like everybody else in that movie. But in Breakfast Club, his story is the most impactful for me because there's something really raw about coming to realize what a piece of shit you've been. Yeah. And having to acknowledge that, I thought
character growth.
Yeah, and Estevez really killed that. I thought he was really, really good at the jock who thinks, well, I'm with all my friends, and we just gave this kid the wedgie and locked him in his locker. Ha ha ha! Very funny. No big deal. You just don't think about it until somebody really points out the cruelty of it. And he was so good at acknowledging that and then internalizing it,
showing remorse from it, and
it's really one of the best things in that movie. And I think he gets overlooked, but. I really like that about him. You're right about his directing. He's got all kinds of shit going on. Let's see. Got 2 things coming up. Something called Guns 3, Dead or Alive. Is that what I think it is? Hold on.
Yes,
Guns 3.
Absolutely. It is.
So just Guns, though? It's called just Guns?
Guns 3, Dead or Alive. And it's got
We're not young
already...
anymore.
I so wish they were making it called Old Guns.
Old Guns.
That's a great title.
He's already got Lou
Middle-aged
Diamond.
Guns.
Lou Diamond Phillips and Christian Slater are signed. He's, of course, in it. And he's also directing. Yeah, that's... I mean...
Was Christian Slater in any of the previous ones? I know...
thought he was in the... first, maybe the second. Was he in it
being
at all?
in any of them.
Maybe he wasn't in any of them. Maybe you're
I
right.
don't know if he was. I don't remember him, but I mean, no Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, not yet. Anyway, he may still. Oh no, he died.
I'm curious because I'm going to say curious because
right.
the characters,
didn't Doc die? Doc died.
Yeah, some of them kind of. Well, yeah, and some of them kind of like have unanswered. It's like, oh, maybe we think he did. We're pretty sure he did. We'll see. I guess we'll find out in Guns 3.
Yeah. So I didn't know he directed Men at Work, the one with his brother, the garbage one. He's directing a lot. You know what? I'm glad we looked this up because
he's smart.
He's got some shit. There's something called something from 2010 called The Way, with Martin Sheen, Emilio Estevez, the one they did together, like father-son deal. It's reviewed really well. I never seen it. I want to see that now.
Come a long way since eating canned peaches out of his parents' brainwashed house.
Is that your way of bringing us back? Does that bring us back?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Hey, did you guys have like a so this is interesting. I don't remember there ever being a time. I never really lived in a big city like this though. Like the Pick and Pay grocery store, the security guard with a gun.
Oh, I'm in that part of town, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's LA,
I didn't live in like those big cities like that, so I can't. You would never see that here.
And if this is the thing you want to pick apart the movie for, like,
no, I'm not picking it apart. I'm just like that's a different. Like I said earlier in the show, I'm like I had a really different experience in the 80s under Reagan's rule than people in other places because I've learned that as I've gotten older. It's like, oh well, that's not how my America was. I'm like, okay, I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
In this case, the movie tries to shock you with how dangerous and how unsteady everything is. Like right from the beginning, the first thing you see is a police officer get evaporated, and then when we jump over to this grocery store, and it's not necessarily a realistic telling, right? You're supposed to just get that these two characters are like they're literally being shot at while working their job. That's not realistic. But it puts you into this mindset that Emilio Estevez's character has. And right now I am giving this movie so much more credit than it's due. But you know, I mean, sometimes a good drug trip can lead to some good writing, and at least there's a point here, right? Like Emilio Estevez is now a grown man, right? And he's trying
Right.
to find his way. He's trying to make money. He's trying to like survive, and it's a pretty good way of starting all of that. It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
and it made me mad, you know, but it's funny.
They're listing an emotion. That's good.
Yeah.
So that's what art's about, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
listening
it's supposed to.
conversation, emotion. That's what art's good at doing.
All of the generic brand names were so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were good.
From
Yeah.
beginning to end, the movie was just filled with these fun little moments.
You guys remember growing up having those black and white generic food versions of things?
Yes.
Yeah,
totally do.
not to that degree, but yes.
Yeah.
Not to the
Yeah,
degree this
not
movie
that, but I
portrays.
remember beer being, the black and white
Yeah,
beer and
just
black
beer.
and white toilet paper and black and white, probably cling peaches and stuff. It's funny that in the grocery store where everything is generic, hanging above every aisle is a big sign for Del
I
Monte.
know. Exactly. Del Monte was seriously featured in this. I was like, wow.
Del Monte, if the trivia would have said Del Monte was a sponsor of the film, that I would have
Dude.
believed.
Del Monte must have had a huge marketing budget back in the early 80s to be able to put
Yeah.
up those kind of really cool things. I was like, wow.
Yeah. There's a lot going on
Must
there.
have been cutthroat.
The Heinz, they were okay showing Heinz ketchup, and there was one point
right,
where
yeah.
Harry Dean Stanton swung around and hit the Heinz with his elbows and just shattered like 4 dozen bottles of Heinz ketchup.
It was
Right.
it was such an interesting. I was trying to deconstruct that scene as well, because when he does it, where he grabs the side of his hip, so it's like, oh, is he going to get lobotomized? Is he going to get separated to, like what the way the
Yeah.
movie portrays it? And I'm like, but then he hits his hands on the ketchup and that spills everywhere, and it's like, oh, did he really get hit with blood? Because then we saw the attendant there, who was hilarious because he pulls out this big old shotgun and he's smiling about it, and bloom, and he blows up everything. Then he gets shot and he busts into a lot of liquor, and there's actually blood there as well.
Yeah.
And once again, I found myself trying to deconstruct a scene and just
Sure.
said, shut up. Think about plate of shrimp. Plate of shrimp.
Plate of
alien in a
shrimp.
truck.
Plate of shrimp.
Plate of shrimps.
Yep.
Scramps.
That one guy that
And,
died, the gang leader, little bald kid that finally
Duke.
died and then did his long ass freaking death rattle breath, was cracking
That
me
was
the
great.
F up, dude. That made me laugh so
Yeah,
hard.
That was a funny thing. Like,
Playing a
I
playing a
guess
victim.
the method of my demise is finally caught up to me, or whatever. Like, has live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of
statement.
characters like that where you're just like, what is your point? What is your reason for being in this
Yeah.
movie? And again,
It's-
you got to do like Dunaway and just think a plate of shrimp and forget about it.
Yeah. Right.
Well, there is a lot of just stretching for time. I mean, the movie is just filled with like these long drawn out shots of a car parking, and then you walk into an office from the parking lot with the character, and it's like
I think
we're
is it
used to
stretching of
movies
time?
being much faster paced.
Is it stretching? Is it stretching of time, or is it a product of plate of shrimp? Is it a product of early? This is a director. This is like 84. I mean, some things have changed about movie making, but a lot of it stayed the same. And we used to make movies that would have those long setup scenes. It's like, well, people won't know what's going on unless we show them parking, getting out of the car, and walking inside. And I actually felt like the earlier part of the movie did that really well. And then later on in the movie, we started hopping around places, and I'm like, wait, are we in a drug dream at this point? Because nothing feels like it's grounded.
No, it's
And,
like, the overuse of establishing shots at the beginning, and then it thins out.
Cut.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. The downside of it, of seeing Baby Driver right before seeing this, is that we saw a much better heisty kind of film, where where it's done so well, and all those techniques you were talking about, Dunaway, are kind of long in the tooth, and they don't use them anymore.
Yeah.
And that movie's so good at it, and this one is so weird and not good at it that it's just like it's hard not to notice the difference.
The height of this movie is the rumble scene when the two groups of repo men get in the rumble. My God, that is such a, I don't know if it just got lucky with the lighting or what, but it felt like a totally different movie. That whole scene, the energy, how it was shot, it was just, I felt like, wow.
There are a few moments like
amazing.
that where it's like, wait a minute, why aren't you coming into this next scene with that same energy? Because that
Right,
was really
yeah.
good or whatever. There's also a very, very big chick in the bucket. Let's call them two chicks in the bucket, and I'll play the thing for it now.
Grab a bucket.
It's his parents. What the hell are we gonna?
Yeah.
We need some resolution on those people.
Right, hold giving all your money to this evangelist, and that evangelist, of course, dies in the melts in the thing. in the end.
There's this undercurrent going on in the movie that I couldn't quite follow. Of people, it's almost like they were projecting a little bit of invasion of the body snatchers. So it's kind of like a body snatchers thing.
People are becoming zombies in the background.
Right.
Yeah. It's not easy to see, and you don't really understand what's going on, but it's like it's happening. So I was curious. It's like, is that what happened to them? That's kind of what I felt like, that they just kind of got body snatched.
I guess. I don't know. See, they're not really interested in giving us that resolution. In some ways, I'm fine with it. It's like a true MacGuffin. But in other ways, I'm like, you didn't really earn it. Like, you didn't really... The reason Pulp Fiction works with the stupid suitcase thing is because the rest of it is so masterfully told.
Well, why don't you just go watch Pulp Fiction?
I mean, it's hard. For me, it's hard not to compare them. I can't help it.
I wish I would have.
I get it. I wish I would have.
The whole movie, though, Scott, is written while high. Like, it's like this, this
speed.
really... I mean, you know how you get high and you're like, man, tandem bicycles are good. But someone should make a tandem blue jeans with 4 legs. Like you write that down and then you make a movie out of it, and it's not going to make sense.
Yeah,
because it never made sense in the first place.
Well, yeah, but it can in the right hands. I've seen some weird movies that really work, and this maybe. Well, I guess it worked for. People like it. There's a cult. Once again, a cult has formed around it. I did a lot of reading about this, trying to understand that. And there are people who love this thing. Think it's one of the most influential films of all time. It's like number 50 on cult classics lists, like all this kind of stuff. And I just kind of go, yeah, but it's a little bad.
It's got okay. So a couple of things it does really well is have this conversation, even as outrageous as it is, about what's going on in our society at the time in 1984. And for that, I really appreciated it. And it takes a lot of chances. It's really risky, but to me, it's like he said, let's take a punk rock song and make a movie. And that's what it feels like. It feels a little disjointed. Mm-hmm. It all feels very intentional. I'm probably giving it way more credit, but since it just sometimes things just happen really well, regardless of your intention. And I think that's what came out. It feels like a punk rock song that turned into a movie to me.
I did like that as the backdrop of the soundtrack for most of it. They didn't use any kind of real orchestration or, what's the word I'm looking for?
Who needs an orchestra when you got suicidal tendencies?
Yeah.
Come on,
like
baby.
that.
Circle jerks and
nailed it.
I like that stuff
Pablo
a lot.
Picasso was never called an asshole. loved hearing that, and this like, oh, awesome, nice pick for a song.
Gave a nice edge. You were saying Ibit that this is like down the street from Slacker and up the road from whatever. Did you?
Yeah, from Tarantino Berg.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Linklater. He's got a new movie on Netflix, this Hitman thing. Has anybody seen that?
I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list though.
Oh yeah,
I am about to watch it. It's gotten such rave reviews.
Yeah, everybody's screaming about this thing.
That's what got recommended after I watched this, I think, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I think so.
Might have
was
been.
It really? Not for me.
I mean, I'm a big Linklater fan, so I'm kind of in no matter what, but I didn't realize he... And not to all the video game people are confused. Hitman, you mean like the one where you got the barcode on your neck, Agent 47 and all that shit? No, it's not that, you guys.
Let's attack our fans.
97% tomato meter, 93% audience score. Really doing well on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Why don't you see what Rotten Tomatoes says about Repo Man? You may be surprised.
I think
any guesses before I pull it up?
Oh, I already know because I've already looked.
Yeah, so don't you guess.
Yeah, don't you guess.
I also already looked, and it blew my mind. It made me rethink everything about
my reality.
I'm gonna guess. I haven't pulled it up yet. I'm gonna guess 90% audience score, 30% critic.
Okay, let me. I like that. I'm gonna say 30% critic. 60% audience. Let's do that.
Okay.
Right
wow. You guys were way off.
Yeah, we were way off. 98% tomato meter. So 78% audience score, 98% critic score.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Did that just blow your mind?
I don't know what to say.
Is there another version of this movie that we didn't see?
I mean, that's a very reasonable question given what we're talking about. It's not, I mean, am I crazy? Maybe again, I missed the win. Like, Ibit, what you said earlier totally rings true. Cult classic is a lot about that is when you saw it and when you jumped in. Because otherwise, like the feelings I have for Time Bandits, Randy couldn't share those. Well, why? Well, he didn't jump in then, So I think this, I don't want to besmirch anyone else's opinion, but I think this thing is.
Yeah, I don't know if Randy went back, and now Randy's a big fan of Siskel and Ebert, like I am. We probably all are. But yeah, they talked about it, and there may have been some mention of maybe one of the best movies in 1984, and I'm like, what? 1984 was a pretty good year.
I mean, I mentioned at the top, it's part of the time capsule for Alamo Drafthouse.
Yeah.
I noticed while I was watching it that it was a very well constructed movie. Like it didn't include a bunch of like film school student mistakes, like it was like the cinematography was really good in this movie, but much better than you would expect. And that's a thing that, especially in 1984, rings through for someone like Siskel and Ebert. They're watching a well-crafted movie and they like that.
Yeah.
Are we going to get the kind of response from people that we got for bashing Wet Hot American Summer after this episode?
Not the same people. Not the same people.
Well, I mean, it's still a fair question. Like, I hate that was
Wet
crazy
Hot
to me.
American,
Yeah,
Wet
not
Hot
from the
American
same people,
Summer.
but are we still going to get people like,
Yeah.
you guys just really didn't get?
Because there's an example of cult following for a film, right? That people are really into it or really not.
Right.
So, I think we might hear from a few. Somebody out there really likes this, and it might be just done away, but it might be the world. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know which way
Wet
to.
Hot American Summer. I feel like we've said this many times, so please forgive me. But Wet Hot American Summer as a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes for some really good reasons. And the main thing is that it applies to you if you had already been following Michael Showalter and crew's comedy as you come into this movie. And since none of us had, we were all kind of stymied by it. That's different, that's building on something. It's like if the TV show Community ever made a movie, there would be people who would go and watch it having never seen the TV show, right?
There's supposed to be one going on, right? 6 seasons of the movie. They've been working on something, and I can't remember if it's.
They can't wait to have Chevy Chase back.
He died. They don't have to. He died.
Yeah.
I find they'll bring it back. I find that that the longevity of those cult classics is about quotability and reliving those moments with the other cult members. You got to have scripture, right? And I don't think Repo Man necessarily has quotable scripture, whereas like Wet Hot American Summer, you can instantly.
Yes, but with one exception, and that is my entire life, I never knew that Plate of Shrimp came from this movie. Until yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Even still, is it? Did people say Plate of Shrimp a lot? Was that
it's
okay?
You say that when you say that to acknowledge something that is coming up repeatedly.
Yeah,
interesting.
And it does in this movie. It's even outside. Like when one of the brothers, the Repo brothers, are outside using the phone calling Marlene. There's actually a big sign that says "Plate of Shrimp," and it's very pervasive throughout the whole movie. It's a running gag.
I guess the whole I'm trying to think. Like usually movies that are considered cult classics. Yes, I've heard somebody make reference to them. Like they'll say a phrase and then I'll finally see it and go, "Oh, I get what they were doing." This didn't. I've never heard that Plate of Shrimp thing until I saw this movie, so I don't know. I'm in the wrong circles, I guess.
The only shrimp I think it got overwrote once we saw Forrest Gump. I mean, there's no reference to shrimp. Yeah. Since then, it's like it got overwrote in your memory, maybe.
I could see that. All right. Anything else we want to talk about before we do the deal?
Well, I could go on for days.
Yeah.
You touched on the water basin, the LA water basin thing at the beginning, but and you brought up how Terminator had their thing. We've seen Buckaroo Banzai stuff happen there, and I guess we haven't watched Grease here, but Grease had their famous race.
Yeah, that's the word.
The Grease Lightning race at the end in that basin.
Oh, right. That's a popular place to stick your cars and do shit.
It must be free to you just basically say.
I mean, it's smart because it's very open. If you need to do
Yeah.
some stunts, it's
Right,
right
you've
there
got
in
cool
town.
angles and stuff. There's always some
Yeah.
water splashing on the bottom that you can drive through, and
Yeah. If you're filming it if you're filming it in town, you're like, we're already here. Some filming locations. Hey, we got some open
Right.
space down there. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Randy, anything to add? Being in LA, being a Los Angeles Angelino,
The-
Los
Angelino.
Mm,
The Ryan Gosling movie Drive.
mm.
Oh, also goes through there.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Nice.
need
Yeah,
to
but,
see.
I mean,
I've never seen Drive. I got to watch Drive. Always meant to.
Just because the LA River, like you say, it's a big wide open space,
Yeah.
and it's relatively safe. Like it's almost
Mhm.
never flooding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
great.
the idea is it's there just in case, right? But it's so funny as time has gone on, it's become this place, and it's kind of iconic. We brought Bo down for a BlizzCon one year, and he'd never been to America. He'd never been anywhere outside of Canada. So we bring him down,
Right.
and he's in the car, and we're driving past one. It wasn't even like this canal; it was like one of them.
Yeah.
And somebody, I think John or somebody goes, "Hey, that's where they filmed Terminator." And he was like a little kid with his face smashed
Yeah.
up against the window. He was
Yeah,
so
he's skipping.
excited, man. He was so stoked.
It was a real bow down.
Yeah,
Had
it
a
was a real
party.
bow down.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got any more bow name and the things you want to do done away before I move on?
I like potato rounds. Is that
That's
that
good.
relevant?
No, I think keep those going. I like it. Also,
All right,
everybody wanted to just, they're all indifferent to littering. This is the most littery
yeah.
movie I've seen
That
in
was
a long
also
time.
a problem that was also a big problem we was coming out of, still trying to train our populace to not litter as much. I mean, if you don't stop, we'll get a Italian actor to look like a Native American. It wasn't Italian, I think that's right.
Yeah, he was Italian.
And we'll have him
little
cry
tear.
right on screen if
Yep.
you don't stop littering.
He'll have
Yeah.
his little fake Indian tear if he sees it.
Right.
I probably
And-
butchered
Yeah.
the lore of that, but yeah.
No, that's correct. He's an Italian guy, and they hired him to look
Yeah.
like a Native American. It was terrible, terrible
And
idea.
if that doesn't appeal to you, then hey, don't give a hoot. Don't pollute.
Yeah, don't
you know?
pollute.
And it's another example of the movie commenting on something but not saying anything. So like
Right.
there were a lot of scenes you could tell that before they started shooting, they went and just dumped trash everywhere.
Yeah.
Like there were a lot of scenes like that. You're like, come on, I'm sorry.
Is that
but-
what that old lady
there-
was mad about? Was that what she was going on about?
Sure, yeah.
She was so upset
Yeah,
about
and
it.
they literally have the main
Litter.
character make
Litter.
a
A
trash
litter.
mess,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but then the movie doesn't really have anything to say. It's just like,
Sure.
here's some commentary. Okay, next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure it did. I
Yeah.
mean, Emilio Estevez refused to pick up the trash. He was offended. I mean, we were having a really serious conversation about that. And then, of course, the next scene was him making out in the back seat and fast forward.
Yeah.
But still,
Mhm.
yeah. What was with that sped up film bit there? Why'd they do
I
that?
kind of enjoy. I
No,
used to
of course
hate
you
sped
did.
up film.
Of course
Yeah.
you did. Of course you love that.
You know,
I
you know
don't.
what I
of course.
attribute it to? I
What?
attribute it to the fact
Speed.
that this is executive produced by Michael Nesmith of the Monkees, and this was
right.
his
I
way,
forgot about that. That's
his way
true.
of putting some
What a
monkeys
great connection.
looking
Yeah,
stuff in there.
I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah, I have it in my notes, and I was like, "Oh, got to bring up the Monkees and Michael Nesmith."
that was great.
Who was always the weirdest
did
of the
that a lot.
Monkees, and
Yeah.
and,
Strange
and the
monkey.
director of one of my favorite music videos of all time, which is Lucy and Ramona and Sunset Sam.
He directed
which
that.
is
I didn't know
Michael
that.
Nesmith's song. Yeah,
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
it's his song. He directed the music video to go
Yeah.
along with
He
it.
maybe had the
Monkees are
most
real
interesting
interesting.
non-monkeys career, I guess, out of all those
Yeah.
guys.
He really did. Yeah, the most outside of what the Monkees were doing, and the rest of the Monkees, the living Monkees anyway, after the
That
breakup.
sounds scary.
Well, they
living
would just
monkeys.
tour. They would just basically tour as the Monkees and go out and sing "Daydream Believer." And I think
Right.
Mickey Dolenz might. I don't know. if
That's a
he's
great
still-
idea for a band post one of your members passing. Call it the
Mhm.
living whatever, you know,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the living monkeys.
the living
we
living
renamed our
drifters.
band. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or
Boy,
The
remaining
living
members.
Leonard Skinner.
yeah.
This was our first Michael Nesmith movie, believe it or not, but
Yeah.
our second movie for the director of photography. That's Robbie Mueller, who shot this movie. And I'm curious if anybody wants to even guess what the other Film Sack movie is. Now that I know what it is, I can tell you looks very similar. To this one.
Interesting.
Is it something? But it's not something we've already brought up, right?
Correct. But it is
Okay.
something we've seen in let's just say the last year or two.
I
Yeah.
don't No, something that's the same similar vibe. You're saying era and everything. Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't think I could.
So,
guess.
Super Trooper.
Oh, that's a good guess. But
that's a good guess.
this Robbie Mueller cinematographer also shot Ghost Dog: The Way of Samurai.
Oh, what?
Oh, we
interesting.
saw that.
Wow, that's impressive. Actually, I love the cinematography in that movie, and that's another one that makes the city just the city as a character in it. You know.
Yeah.
And I will give this movie credit for that, I suppose.
There's one last person I want to talk about real quick.
Who's
I want
that?
to talk about Kevin. I just couldn't get enough of Kevin.
Was
His
Kevin the
friend,
nerd friend? Yeah. Or
Nerd
not
friend.
even barely a friend, more like shitty roommate who, once in a while cross
He's
paths.
a roommate. Perfect, because that's how you feel about it. It's like, oh, I hang out with this guy. Why? Oh, because and it's like you don't have any of this. It's just because you have. He was in a lot of other these movies. He even came back for the Repo Chick. Scott, yeah, that's right.
The
he came back.
Xander Schloss is his name.
Yeah, Xander
Schloss. He's mostly music stuff. He does tons of music.
Yeah.
But he's an actor as well. You're right. Repo Chick. And a bunch of shit stuff you don't know.
Stuff you have no clue about.
Nope. I did think the whole thing in the grocery store at the beginning was pretty funny. I like that.
Yeah, I
Singing
laughed.
the 7-Up song over and over again.
Yeah, dude, that stupid jingle. Ugh.
So what was okay, so this is a problem I had during the movie. I was watching this on Netflix and I was like, oh, what is this guy singing at the beginning? Because I couldn't quite make it out. And I was like, I'll turn on closed caption. Only closed caption is Spanish. I'm like, well, that's not gonna help me any. And so, which is weird too, by the way. Did you guys do that? Notice that? Anyway,
no.
So I was trying to figure out what he was singing because everybody was singing a jingle or some kind of earworm that was in everybody's heads, and I was trying to figure out what that guy was singing. And I have no idea. It's not important. There's plate shrimp in the trunk.
So you didn't find the 7-Up jingle that he was singing, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, once I noticed it that he was doing jingles because basically Emilio Estevez gets up at one point in time after he's been fired and he starts yelling out every name of every series with great jingles.
Oh yeah,
right. Well, yeah, it was like another weird song as he's kicking the can. Basically, it's like, and we are. Pledging our allegiance to United Airlines and something. And I don't know what that was about either.
Yeah.
I could have really used some closed captions is what I could have done. Yeah.
And this didn't happen, eh? There was no
I don't know if you spoke Spanish, they did.
Spanish, yes. Spanish closed captions for some reason. But
that's
English,
weird.
You.
That's weird.
I thought it was weird.
Yeah. I'll bet if I watched it on Plex or something, there's probably a community
probably
uploaded one or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can do some clips now. And the fun about clips is we get to hear bits from this film, and that if you miss these or whatever, it'll be a nice refresher course.
Sure.
So we're going to start with this one. You don't want to look in there.
You don't want to look in there.
Okay. I don't remember what that was about.
You don't want to look in there.
Was that the nerd? What was that? I don't remember what that was.
You don't want to look in there. That's the driver telling the cop with the wide pants, which they don't wear anymore, I'm assuming.
Right.
To not look in the trunk. Yeah.
You're right. You're totally right about that. I completely forgot. That whole intro, I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
No one talks like this.
Why so tense, guy?
Why you so tense, guy?
Guy.
No one calls anyone guy.
No.
Ever. Not in 84 either. That was bullshit. All right. We don't want to know.
Is this true Canadians?
What'd you say? Who?
Is this true Canadians? No one says guy?
I don't think. Right. Listen, guy, I don't want to be your pal, friend. I'm not your guy.
Guy.
I'm not your guy, pal. All right, here we go.
Don't want to talk about anything else. We don't want to know.
We don't want to know.
That sounds like you could have pulled it out of any Brat Pack movie.
Yeah. His voice it immediately
very
takes you back.
Unmistakable. Yeah, you can say, that's Emilio Estevez right there. It doesn't sound like Charlie Sheen or Martin.
Martin Sheen, yeah. When he yells, you get a little Martin Sheen. If you think about when Martin Sheen yells in like Apocalypse Now or something, you can kind of hear it. Yeah. But Charlie Sheen, I never think of him as even related to Martin Sheen. It's
no, he feels just so grown in a lab different.
Yeah, good way of putting it. He was grown in a lab. Oh, that's perfect. All right.
With tiger blood.
That's right. Tiger blood is the base for all Sheen growth. All right, here's this.
It took me 2 weeks to get this money up so I can come and get it.
This guy that was on
I love that guy.
That guy was great,
it's
right?
It's the best car in the yard.
Yeah. He was
Honestly,
awesome.
for my money, that's the best scene in the movie. That black couple coming to retrieve their car, they are so real, and the acting is so perfect.
Yeah.
The whole
Who was
taking
that guy
the
though?
keys and giving the money swaps at the same time, and both of them laughing after
Yeah.
they did it, like they just pulled one on the other one.
I don't think he was anybody big, Dunaway. I think he was just
No, he wasn't. He looked familiar, just like what's her? There's a couple of actors in here. Helen Martin was in here, and she's been in tons of TV. She's the mom with the rollers, and her boys come home, and Emilio Estevez tries to repo the car, and it's on blocks essentially, and the boys come out and beat him up. Anyway, Helen Martin, she's in tons of stuff, but that guy looked familiar too, like he was in a bunch of TV shows from that time period.
I couldn't find him in the. Maybe not be looking
I couldn't
right.
either.
While I was hunting him down, I found out I didn't know this. We haven't talked about it, but there's a bunch of these blonde agents. They're like government weird agents in this movie, and one of them is
one of them is a parrot head.
One of them is freaking Jimmy Buffett himself, man.
Yeah. Was it?
Was it really? I saw that Jimmy Buffett was listed as that. Is it the actual
really?
Jimmy Buffett?
Yeah,
or
it
is
says
it just
Jimmy.
somebody who's unfortunately got the same name?
No, I looked it up.
Jimmy
Jimmy Buffett, additional blonde agent. I clicked it. It says it is
to the actual Jimmy Buffett page.
Yeah, he just died last year, right? 76.
Yeah.
It's him.
Did he step on a Pop-Tart?
I don't know why this dude is.
Pop-Tart.
What? Wait, what? What's the Pop-Tart reference? I don't get it.
He stepped on a pop top.
I know. I've heard so many people say Pop-Tarts.
I have too, and I love that, and I don't know why I'd forgotten about that Mondegreen. Oh my god.
Yeah. Weird. Yeah, I can't find this dude that was. Let's see, tennis player Harry Pace. Yeah, they're just not. They don't list this guy. He's uncredited. The guy with the car.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I swear I've seen him in a million other things. I just couldn't place it. Watch it be that some guy lived down the street or went to school with or something. That's why I know him.
By the way, all the guys at the repo place that were not Charlie Sheen, were not Otto or Emilio Estevez, were all named after beers.
Beers, yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
And it's funny. You'd think I would have picked up on that when there was a guy named Oli or whatever his name was, like short for Olympia. But when you got Miller and Bud, and is there a guy in Light? The black guy. Yeah.
Great.
The girl, the lady, maybe not.
Marlene.
Yeah, Marlene.
My appreciation for this film is growing.
Yeah, it should keep growing. Keep growing.
You could do that for all of us.
Yeah.
I loved that there was a character named Pletchner. Why did they call him? Why did they just name him Pilsner? Pilsner would have been.
That would have been good too.
Is Pletchner? He was the cop guard guy that worked there.
Yeah, he was the rent-a-cop with the open shirt and the knitting habit, right?
Yeah.
Or was he crocheting?
Crocheting.
I didn't look that close.
It looked like crochet to me. I could be wrong, but I think that was crochet.
The other.
I think he's been in MASH because his photo looks like a MASH photo. I can't tell.
He has been in MASH. That's his IMDb photo. Is
that MASH? Because I can't find it. I can't find the actual reference in his list though that he was in.
If not, if they stole it directly from that Korean War.
His name is Richard Ferrangi, and we saw Richard Ferrangi in Ghostbusters too.
Oh,
did we see him in Serpico? Did we watch?
We haven't seen Serpico.
We have not watched that.
Oh, son of a butthole.
He's great in Midnight Run. That movie rules. Dude, I could watch Midnight Run 3 times a year. I love that
that's
movie.
so good. Yeah.
Have we seen Carlito's Way? No, we have not.
No, man. Every time I think, we're gonna run out of movies. We're never gonna run out of
movies.
Oh, he's another guy in The Love Boat: The Next Wave. My gosh, that comes up a lot.
Great.
Wow.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Died this year at the age of 86, just in May. Just barely. Like not even a month cold.
Not even a month cold? He's not part of the living Ferrigno band, right? So that's not
Ferrigno. What the hell's Ferrigno?
For how you say his name? His last name.
Lou Ferrigno?
No, Richard Foronigi. I'm gonna slowly pronounce Foronagi.
I don't know.
How do you say his name?
Use it in a sentence. Can you give me the country of origin?
No, I cannot. Moving on.
Let's move on. Here's something about auto parts. I hate this joke, but here it is.
Auto parts.
That guy thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, how about fine wine in every car?
Fine wine in every car.
I guess I just said the thing. Oh, that was what's his name?
Fine wine in every car.
That was our dude, yeah.
We like
Francis.
We like that guy.
I know Francis, whatever his name is.
What is his? Tracy Walter. That's his
Tracy,
name.
right.
The girl name, sort of. Not really, but sort of, Here's People Just Explode.
People just explode.
They sure do. They just explode.
Whatever
Not
metal
wrong.
hand that gets licked later and Scott freaks out.
Oh, yeah. You guys want to know
what? Talk about what grossed him out.
That's 100% it. That grossed me out.
Gross.
I thought that was horrible.
Spittle coming off of that.
Sure.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was disgusting. Don't do that. I don't care what that's made of. I don't care where it's been. Do not show me that ever again.
Yeah.
Here's a nice offensive clip. You probably need to. That's the other thing. This movie is very raw on the language and all that stuff. You don't really know it going in, but man, everybody's cussing up a storm. Here's a nice version of one of those exchanges.
Goddamn dipshit Rodriguez, gypsy dildo punks!
Yeah.
Yep.
Gypsy
Yeah,
dildo
the
punks.
slurs.
Yep.
It was bad.
Gypsy dildo punks. Good Lord.
A lot of terms we don't use anymore for gay people and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the alternate F word scene was something. Woo.
A lot of that.
That's a lot of. I guess
That used to be a weird discussion, right? About whether or not why am I blanking on Meat Man's name?
Meat Man. Meat Man?
John Wayne. John Wayne, whether or not he was gay or not. Meat Man. He has colon in his. He has colon.
Oh,
No,
yes. Impacted meat in his colon.
That was that was a urban legend, but it doesn't matter. It's
that was
amazing.
the urban legend.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing whether it's true or not. I don't care. I love the idea that someone's got a mile of meat packed in their freaking guts.
But that was the other urban legend that he was gay as well. So that was, I guess, I don't know.
I mean, it may have been true. Who knows?
Right. I don't know.
Let's bring that one up again and see if we can get it rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a rhyme for you. The rhyme is mace to the face. Yeah, that's what you say.
Almost always works.
Yep. Here's your plate of shrimp.
Plate of shrimp.
Plate of shrimp.
There's a nasty barf in this movie.
Yeah.
That was the lobotomy guy off screen, but
no, that was Emilio Estevez.
No. There were two of them.
That?
They both puked.
Okay, there's two. Okay.
Yeah. He puked later and didn't make much noise. He just ran to the ledge and did it.
He spit it. He was walking around with a mouthful of whatever puke.
Yeah. He didn't really. He's not
Something
that was not good acting for a puker, but the other guy really let it rip.
Yeah.
These guys cracked me up. They just go forever.
And he shakes hands with the homeless guy there. That was Duke and the gang.
Yeah.
A lot of the Warriors here. I kept coming around to that.
Oh yeah, kind of theme gangs and lots of mixed
and all coming together, at the end for a big battle royale.
Yeah. There's some very
Oh my God.
things.
Was the girl? Oh my gosh. Is this true? I was trying to figure out the punk rock girl that was in their
British
gang. Was it Debbie? Yeah. Was that the character's name? Because I'm assuming it was.
I think so.
Together,
She's the one in the tinfoil overcoat thing or whatever. Yeah.
And it's Jennifer Ballgoblin. I think that's what it is. And she was in
Ballgoblin.
I'm not going to say
the Ballgoblin.
Anyway, she was in Cherry 2000. She was the glory hole clerk. Is that what it says?
Glory hole clerk. Good Lord.
Is that what it says? I think that's what it says.
That's a hell of a job.
Glory hole clerk for Cherry 2000. Did you see that here?
I don't remember that at all. Wow. The glory hole clerk.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you need a job, jobs, they're out there. You can get.
Yeah, they're out there.
You got a position. What are you hiring for?
Got a position.
We got somebody who needs to man the glory hole. We need a clerk there.
Right, the clerk.
And Jennifer Ballgoblin was in a third movie that we've sacked. And that was Contact.
Oh man, she's been here a couple of times.
That's a move.
Still no IMDb photo though.
That's a step
not
up
even
though.
An IMDb page, just or I guess IMDb page. No Wikipedia page for her.
Yeah, that's a real step up though. From this garbage. Let's see. We got another one here. This is that old gun sound that Hollywood used every time for everything.
Oh my gosh. Am I watching Death Wish? What is this?
It's the same every time and
I
every
just
movie.
shot you with my 1910 Westerns gun.
Is this when Emilio Estevez is trying to repossess a car and someone's shooting at him from the house?
No, that was later. This is the one where his partner, the other guy he hung out with that wasn't Harry Dean Stanton, it was him firing at... Oh, I guess it was that scene, but he was firing at the house. Yeah, you're right.
So Light pulls up and just starts shooting at a house.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Don't worry. It's blanks. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's blanks.
It's all blanks. All right, here's the sound of a dude getting hit in the gut with a baseball bat. It's the guy that ran the grocery store, and this is the sound he made.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty good sound.
I tried to figure out what was going on there because Emilio had gotten beaten up a couple of times. You know, a big goose egg on his head, and then he got when he later ran into some people, and I was like, when did he get beat up like that? Was it when he was trying to repossess Lady Roller's car? And I was like, I wasn't sure, but then he sent everybody to go beat up his ex-boss instead. I guess he didn't want to cause any more trouble.
I don't know what that was about. I don't know why he went back to him at all. Like, why that's why they wanted just to go. He wanted to make that sound. That was it. The singer guys.
Doobity-doo wop wop, say what? Yeah.
It's so weird, dude.
Who are those guys? Ibit? Were we supposed to know those guys were?
The Circle Jerks.
They were.
Is that who that was?
Yeah, isn't that the
That's them doing that?
Doobity-doo wop.
That's them?
Yeah, so
if that's them in the
never
bar in the
looked up.
nightclub, right?
Yeah. They never looked up, so I wasn't quite sure. I meant to look back. But I said, it'll let me know.
It's also kind of dubbed. Like you can see him mouthing something else, and they're playing that instead. So, yeah.
I feel like that's like the most overt expression of the counterculture versus the squares. Like in the whole movie. The fact that you go here, like nobody likes those guys. That people on stage, everybody hates them. Why are they even here?
Yeah, there was a bit of that. Ain't afraid. I don't know what this is.
I ain't afraid of nothing. See?
Oh yeah, that guy. Freaking, what are you from the 40s? Listen, see, I'm in charge of this gang. See, I ain't afraid of nothing. Yeah, it's like, come on. You could do better dialogue than that.
Trivia says that director Alex Cox was all about letting them do some improv. He's like, I'm not writing anything.
Okay, well, some of it was a mistake. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, some of it. Yeah, sometimes you have to go. Oh, okay, that's not working. Let's try it again.
Now I'm looking at the waveform of this next file, and I just realized I'm not playing it yet, and I can't hear it on my own because you guys will hear it. But no, I think I forgot to beep a word. So warning to everyone out there: if the kids are in the car, mute this. Yeah.
So you can see the F word in waveform. That's pretty impressive.
I can see the missing. Well, I know what the name of the file is, so I know this is the one. But also, I'm missing the waveform.
Very R-rated movie.
Yeah, it's super R-rated.
If you're listening to this and you don't like cursing, like I'm surprised you're still listening.
Yeah. But the thing with this file is I can tell when I put a beep in because it's a very specific waveform, and it's not in here.
A big square, basically, in the thing.
Yeah. So since that's not here. That's all the warning I'm giving you here. Enjoy.
Fuck you, Archie.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, you definitely did not bleep that.
Better than I thought. All right.
Yeah.
You want to have my baby?
I want you to have my baby.
Okay.
I want you to have my baby.
That was that same. This is the same guy, right? This. Where is he?
Yeah.
Listen here, see? Where is he? I can't find him.
Yeah, that's Kevin who got shot in the gut.
Nothing, see?
It's that guy.
No, that's actually the other guy. That's the other weirdo. What's his name? Duke? No, it's Kevin. No, that wasn't right.
Well, there was a guy. There was a dude in the background that kept going. He sounded like Goofy the whole time. Kept going.
Yeah. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know who that guy was, but he was. Yeah, that was the guy who said, "See." I think that's the same guy. Weird. He annoyed the crap out of me.
Weird. All right, here's his big drawn out death sounds.
Oh, yeah. That's good, dude.
I mean, you all at home thought that was going to end, but it just goes on.
I just want you to remember that Duke's real name, the actor's name is Dick Rude. I just want you to remember that.
Right? Yeah.
Dick Rude.
Dick Rude.
Yeah, how do you spell rude? R-U-D-E or
R-U-D?
Just like you'd think.
That's amazing. He should be in a movie with Rip. He should be with Rip Torn.
Dickie Rude.
Should be Dick Rude and Rip Torn present. Best names ever. All right. What is the back? Oh, this background sound in the van. I freaking hated this. Here, you'll know what I mean when you hear it. Here you go.
I'm going to have to torture you. But I want you to know, it isn't personal.
That beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
beep, 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 beep.
When you order Kate
Calculations.
Mulgrew off Wish. That's exactly who you get.
Yeah.
That is
Her name is Kate
Private,
Timu.
Private
Kate Timu.
Janeway.
Yeah,
Private Janeway.
Kate Timu. Here is a great line at the end.
Holy sheep shit!
Holy sheep shit!
Holy sheep shit. That was the preacher, right? When the Bible burst into flames.
Yeah, I assume though this sub story there was that he was working with the aliens or something, right?
No, he was definitely not, but he was in pursuit of the power, right? That's what the government was in the pursuit of the power. He was in the pursuit of the power because this was all taking attention away from him. I think that's what they were.
That's so weird. What a weird movie
idiot.
this
Whatever.
is. It's very weird.
Yeah.
All right, well, weird or not. It's the Film Sack Checklist. This movie makes you never want to go to LA ever again. Check. He broke a lot of ketchup bottles in that store. Check. And finally, never seen so much Sheen undies in my life. Check.
Is anybody is anybody listening that doesn't remember glass bottle ketchups? Because I remember it was such a game changer when they started coming in plastic.
You can still get them.
I mean, it's like,
they're still out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not as common. I mean, you wouldn't. I don't know. You see them in restaurants and stuff, but also you can buy them in stores. I don't think I've owned. But yeah, you're right. Back in the day when we were kids, it was all glass bottles.
Yeah, there was a time before.
Yeah.
The before.
Yeah, yeah.
The before times.
The before times. Yeah, we never speak of these before times. Actually, we do it every week. Let's see. Let's get to the Star Trek connections. I know that there must be one or two, or Harry Dean Stanton, or somebody, right?
Yeah, I got two. So one of the blonde agents, Agent B, is played by Biff Yeager.
Nice.
And Biff Yeager was in an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Nice.
And I'm looking at the wrong copy of my notes. Hold on.
All right.
That's fine. How many copies do you have?
There we go.
Yeah.
Biff Yeager was in 2 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. Season 1, Episode 5, Where No One Has Gone Before, and Season 1, Episode 12, Data Lore.
Oh.
Right. So that was early. Biff Yeager got into Star Trek early, and that's it.
All right.
But the other is Tracy Walter. Tracy Walter is our head in the clouds Miller who stands around a fire and tells you about how the world works, right?
Yeah.
Tracy Walter was also in 2 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. Season 1, Episode 4, The Last Outpost. And Season 6, this is a legendary episode. Season 6, Episode 7, Rascals. Now, Rascals is the one where 4 of the crew turn into kids. And then Tracy Walter was one of the Ferengi that takes over the ship.
Right.
All right. I'm going to ask you
gosh.
name the 4 characters that turn into children in that episode.
I can do that.
All right.
Picard.
Yep.
Whoopi Goldberg's character, Guinan.
Guinan.
Yep, that's right.
Little Ridge Nose Jr. girl lady.
What's her name?
Shit. The one that she was Ferengi, or sorry, Bajoran.
She was Bajoran.
Yep.
And she was in True Blood, and I cannot think of her
She
damn
was
name.
in, the Battlestar Galactica.
Yep. Big mole. Got a big mole on her lip.
2 letters in her first name.
T.J. Miller. No.
Nailed it.
I just need to know the name of the character, right? Roe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lieutenant Roe. Or Roe.
All right.
Roe Laren.
Ensign Roe.
Roe Laren.
You got
There
one
you
to go.
All right, Roe Laren. And then the final one is, hold on. The last one is,
You'll never get it.
I don't think I will. I can't think of the last
I have
one.
a guess. I'm pretty sure it's Beverly Crusher, isn't it?
It is not. No.
Oh.
Beverly Crusher is one of the adults that gets taken off the ship, like leaving these 4 people as children behind.
Well, it's definitely not
Is it
Data.
Worf?
Nope.
That'd be great. Baby Data.
Okay,
Might be
hold
on
on.
Sheldon.
Oh, Baby Data.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, or Baby Worf.
Aren't they all hanging around Wesley or something? But he's not shrunk though. He's not turned little.
This is not a Wesley Crusher episode at all.
Okay.
No.
Shit. I have Dunaway. Do you know? Final one.
I can't think of anybody. O'Brien. I don't know.
Was it Troy?
Left?
Oh, I'd love a little
The teleport
Irish
guy?
O'Brien.
You're actually surprisingly close. The answer is Keiko.
Oh, really?
Oh, Keiko!
Keiko. Another O'Brien.
Right.
Yeah, Max Klinger's wife. What are we doing? Jeez Louises.
And it's just a legendary episode, and I just love that Tracy Walter was in that episode.
Yeah, I don't remember him being a Ferengi, but I'm going to find, let's see, Walter, Star Trek. Let's just see if there's a clip here I could play for funsies. Well, I guess not. There's not. Is there? No, there's not. There's a lot of Star Trek clips. It comes up with nothing. So nobody's captured this or thought it was important, but I want to know. All right. Well done. Let's move on to these titles. No, we're not doing that yet. Social media post. Let's sum it up in 280 characters or less, and let's have each of you do that. But let's start this week with Randy.
Repo Man. One day, while I was running down the street, a handsome boy drove by, and we did meet. It was almost maybe love at first sight, but he was standoffish and didn't bite. So I pushed him into backseat car sex. Then he went back to repossessing Rex. I just don't understand you, punky boy. There seems to be nothing that you enjoy. Why do you leave me and get in that car door? For that, you're not in the gang anymore.
Oh man.
Wow.
You're out, buddy. You're out.
That's a dark one, man.
I didn't have my congos ready. Or my bongos ready.
Your bongo?
My
Your
congos are my
Congo.
bongos.
Buy my Congo bongos.
Yeah, your lava tubes. All right, moving on. Let's get to the Brian Dunaway. That's who we're at now. Sorry.
The alternate Brian Dunaway. Repo Man. Putting the cake in United Fruitcake Outlet. Now, let's go do some crimes. Hashtag plate of shrimp.
And that plate of shrimp getting some mileage today.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Brian Ibbett, take us home.
Repo Man, what you gonna do with all that junk? All that junk inside your trunk?
That trunk.
Sweet.
That's
you did,
right.
You did it. You got to do
What kind of sausage?
two covers
down
today.
there, yeah.
That's great.
That's right. Yes, that was. I wrote that down originally as one of the options for the song while I was watching this, and there's like, nope, we're gonna do the Spider-Man theme, and we'll save that for the Twitter post.
Very efficient use of your words. I like it.
Thank you. I tried.
Nice job. Let's get to the alternate titles now. These are right here. Hold on. What's going on? There it is. All right. These were just handed to me. This was almost called poop fiction.
Poop fiction. That's actually really good.
And then they thought better of it and went with natural born killers. Oh, I wrote that wrong though. Bored? Natural bored
killers.
Like
good,
bored. Yeah, I wrote the actual
very-
title of the movie like a dipshit. It's supposed to be bored.
And you rip on me for saying conga when I meant bongo. Okay. All right. Just checking.
That wasn't a rip. That wasn't even
I just
close
want to point
a
out
rip.
that like Scott really associated this with Pulp Fiction, and I never once thought of Pulp Fiction.
I couldn't help it. To me, it felt like very.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
glowy
anyone copied
face was
anyone, but
glowy.
yeah.
The glowing truck was the only thing. But I have a feeling that wasn't the time that was used in film. Like that was.
I mean, the
something that was
glowy truck, yes, or glowy car, yes. But for me, it was also just the tone shift of everything, like just kind of hardcore crime, and then what's in the car, and then back to crime, and I don't know. There's something.
Yeah, you're right, because they're always pursuing the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just like this briefcase.
Yeah, there's something about that. All right, let's now move on to emails. I got some emails here. Enjoy these. Okay. David Wells wrote in, "Hey Sackers," he says via filmsack@gmail.com. I just finished the episode featuring The Hitcher. Love that movie. Saw it on release day in the theater. Also, as usual, all of you had great views on the film. I am now thinking that Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men, John Ryder, The Hitcher, and Geir Grimsrud from Fargo, I can't say his name right, the last guy, the crazy Fargo guy, are from the same tribe, and they release one of them every so often to wreak havoc in the world in each of their own special way. It might be time for a he wrote psychopathic twice. Psychopathic cinematic universe. Keep up the sacking.
That's exactly what you say when you talk about psychopathic.
Sociopathic. I think is what he meant.
Oh, sure.
Anyway, keep up the sacking, says Dave. Yeah, no, they're all cut from the same cheese. In fact, there's a scene in the latest season of Fargo where he's using a timer that is the same one Anton Chigurh uses in, or not timer, tracker that he uses in No Country for Old Men to try to find Llewellyn. Mm-hmm. And it's the exact same blue little device with a crappy antenna. It's like, it was clearly a plant, to tie the two together. It doesn't mean they're all cut from the same cloth, but it kind of does. So,
yeah.
I like this theory.
Observations.
Yeah,
Very good.
Good theory, Dave. Here's another one from Josh Prez, or he says Pez like the candy. It looks like Prez.
Cool.
He says, "Hey,
Pushes that
Sackers."
open and candy comes out of his
Yeah,
head.
exactly, like a little brick. Hey, Sackers, I discovered the podcast about a month back, and I've been working my way back through the catalog. I'm not sure if this has been done yet, but I would love if you guys would sack a Walk to Remember. It easily grew into one of my favorite movies, and I'll watch it whenever it is on. Thank you for your consideration, says Josh. I don't know what Walk to Remember is.
That's a great movie.
Rom-com thing?
No, can't be, right?
What are you talking about?
A
No.
Walk to Remember? Come on, hold on a second.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of these. There's like 10 of
Absolutely,
these.
it's a Mandy Moore movie.
Are you
And
sure?
It's based on a Nicholas Sparks book. So
Yeah.
I saw it back, like 25 years ago, and
Now
I
it's
would
streaming on
love to
Netflix.
sack that movie.
Really? I mean, it sounds like a
You feel like it's sackable?
rom-com?
Not even.
No, I absolutely think it's sackable.
Really? I mean, it's a rom-com, guys.
I mean,
I like Mandy Moore. I've never seen this.
I smell
I
Team
always-
Gibbet
I
over
always
here.
want
Maybe
us to
we should watch it leading into Christmas. It's like,
Okay.
this is the closest to
Like
Hallmark we'll
feels
ever
like
get.
a Hallmark Christmas movie kind of
Yeah.
does, doesn't it? Yeah.
I always want to sack movies that are notorious for something. A better
What's
example.
this notorious for?
Yeah, what is that?
Just being a ridiculous romance movie.
Okay.
But, like
It's so
a
sad,
better
though.
example would be My Girl. I've always wanted to sack My Girl with you guys.
Crushing. So good. Love that movie.
My Girl's all right. It's the one where Macaulay Culkin gets eaten by bees or something like that.
Spoiler.
Well, it's an old movie. But right, he gets swarmed by bees and dies of
Yeah, he
bees.
doesn't get
'Cause he's
eaten by
got an
bees. That's not
allergy.
how bees work. But
No.
okay.
I want there to
bees
be.
don't eat?
Yeah. No, bees work because they come out of the mouth of Candyman. Come on. Let's get it straight.
Ooh, don't say that anymore.
Here's a quick
Right,
text that
enough.
came to 801-471-0462 from Jeannie. Says, Jeannie here again for Film Sack. Regarding Paul Williams, he is one of the biggest participants in establishing song licensing for musicians. I didn't know that.
Oh,
I
didn't know that either. That's cool.
Yeah, we talked about him last week as part of Baby Driver. So, yeah. I wonder if he...
That's cool.
I guess you could
Cuts
look
of
that
meat
up.
Distributor.
I mean, he's probably both hated and loved, right? Because some artists
Yeah.
don't think they get enough. Some think it's great to get any. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that was his, or he had a role in that.
That's good, though. Makes sense.
Strikes me as a guy that has a bigger footprint in the entertainment world than we give him credit for.
I think so.
I'm
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, which is interesting because he's a little weird guy. Anyway,
Weird guy.
Patreon thanks goes out to some brand new folks this week. Patreon.com/filmsack has accepted the following people: Chris Piven, not related to Jeremy Piven as far as I know; Sean Selders, Sergeant Ed Mayberry, Midnight Shift.
Ooh.
That's his full name. Sergeant
Mayberry.
Ed Mayberry, Midnight Shift.
Nice.
Nick Palmero, or excuse me, Palmero, something like that.
Helmero.
Paul Quigley, who is definitely not down under, and
Oh.
Stuart Caswell have all joined us. And boy, it's good to see some new faces during a week. You guys, I want you to enjoy the following: no commercials ever, cool art sent to you in the mail that is movie related, monthly episodes from the host. Randy just gave me a brand new one that's going up on Monday. Ooh,
What?
I know. I'm so excited to check it. I haven't even heard it yet, but I'm sure it's great because it always is. So check that out. We do those on the monthly, and you don't get those any other way. They get shared with no one. You also get no commercials ever and some pre-show content every week. So please sign up today and support your favorite film show. That's patreon.com/filmsack. Our next episode is a roundtable. And we're going to talk about what, Randy? To remind us.
Well, so last week we did a roundtable about women in action movies, right? Women-led action movies.
Right.
And in the middle of the discussion, we found ourselves talking about soundtrack movies. We're like, okay, hold on. This is a whole other thing. And so next week we're going to talk about soundtrack movies.
Yep. Can't wait.
Cool.
It's going to be awesome. Really enjoyed the last one. I think we should hold on to, today it came up briefly, but the idea of what makes a cult classic film, I think would be a really fun
That would be good.
discussion. I feel like we've done some similar talk, but never a focused one on that. So
And then the next movie we're watching is another Emilio Estevez movie, guys. I promise this wasn't like planned specifically, but we're going to watch The Mighty Ducks next time.
The Mighty Ducks.
This will be
I
the
got a
first
laser
time I've
disc.
seen it.
Me too. A lot of team Gibbet today. I've never seen Mighty Ducks. To me, when the Mighty Ducks came out, I went, all right, that ain't for me. That's for a bunch of people that like bad sports movies. Goodbye. And I'm sure I'm wrong.
I'm going to guess that they face immense odds and they win in the end. Like,
you don't know nothing.
Look, if they lose, well, you know what? I have that same feeling. Let's just say if they lose their final game, I'll be impressed. Okay.
Well, who won at the end of Rocky?
Well, Rocky did not.
Rocky did not win.
Right. But he came back in 2 and did. And so that works.
You didn't know that when you walked out of the theater and into Rocky 1. You didn't go, I can't wait to see the sequel.
No, you're right.
I would argue that at the end of the first Rocky won love.
Oh, he won Adrian.
Yeah. Then we had to go get the thing. Anyway, that's next week and the following week. We got a lot of fun stuff coming in our hot movie action summer. Just getting cranking, guys. Just starting. You know, it's getting real hairy up in here. So we hope you. Sorry,
looking down our list for this hot action movie summer, I spotted RoboCop 3, and I'm like, oh, we got to hurry up.
Oh, wow.
I can't wait to watch that with you.
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah, we never even did mention the fact that this movie, I mean, it's a little late now, but Repo Man leaves Netflix at the end of this month. So
get on it.
Shit.
Yeah. So if you've listened to this entire episode and said, I'm going to get around to it, well, you better get around to it quick.
Yeah, your time is running out. That clock be ticking, yo.
Yeah.
That's it for us. Big thanks, everybody, for listening. Filmsack.com for all links to everything. So go check that out and leave us reviews wherever you go. That always helps our show. That's going to do it for us, for me, for Brian, and for Randy.
Let's go do crimes.
We'll see you next time.
Plate of shrimp.
Plate of shrimp. Plate of shrimp.